Live. So we got another awesome podcast for you guys. We're joined by Ayendei. If you guys are not familiar with him, Ayendei is the guy who came up with the concept behind Fresh and Fit, having girls on. And I found it very appropriate that we have the guy who I came up with the idea of having girls on, and we do a podcast with girls.
Hi.
So, thank you girls for coming on. Let's just do a quick introduction. Just say your name and what do you do for work?
My name is Marina. I do extension hair. It's my job already 12 years. I'm from St. Petersburg, from Russia.
And me and Marina discovered we live in the same building.
Yes, I just moved to this building 1 month ago.
So,
we are neighbors already.
So yeah, if you guys want to find me, then I'll give you her apartment number. You can just show up. And,
you don't know my apartment number.
Do I?
You don't know.
Yeah, my name is Anna. I'm artist. I'm painter of the portraits, and I live in Miami 7 years.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Natalia. I'm a personal trainer and also a real estate agent.
Cool. And so we decided, because two out of the three girls are Russian, that we're going to do this whole podcast in Russian. So Ayendei has been taking Russian classes. So we're gonna do the whole thing. That's a joke, obviously. Okay, so a few things. So in this podcast, we're really going to be focusing on talking about the big issues that men and women are facing in 2022. The initial idea was just talk about men's issues, but I figured, why not just open it up? Because I think men and women have unique set of issues that, they're faced. And so we're going to really get into that, cover anything. Now, what we're trying to do is try to be more involved in the audience. So if you guys have any questions, just get them in, and periodically we'll stop and we'll read, your questions and try to answer them. We want to create the best possible show experience for you guys. And that's why we're doing this at the end of the day. All right. So let's get started with this. Let me start off with this question. What do you think are the big issues that men face when it comes to dating nowadays? And let's start off with the girls.
Issues?
Yeah, what do you think are the big problems that men face when it comes to dating?
So it's never a problem with face. What's the problem with face?
She needs to look at the mic.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, just problems, not with their face, but with the. Your problem is you're ugly.
Yeah, how she look like or what?
No, just issues. So, for example, one of the issues. What is he eating? Not chocolate, I hope.
No.
So, one of the big issues that women face with dating in 2022 is buyer's fatigue. So they get overwhelmed. So, for example, my girlfriend, right? She created back when she was single, she created a Tinder profile, right? And she's like, "Oh, I can't meet any guys." I'm like, "All right, well, how many matches do you have in the queue?" She's like, 5,000. Right. So it's just like buyer's fatigue. You just have so many options. You're like, fuck, when you have too much of something, that's almost equivalent of not having it because you get overwhelmed. So that's an issue that guys have. I'm just curious to see, in your opinion, what are issues that men have?
So you're saying that the women have too many options, so that's a problem.
I think it can be problematic because when you're overwhelmed with options, you just sometimes put up making a decision. So for example, let's say you have two guys who invite you out, right? It's pretty easy. You decide between this and this. Let's say you have 50 guys who invite you out. You're like, fuck, so many options. You might wind up staying at home and watching Gossip Girls, right? Because you're just you're not sure what to do. Or, since you're Russian, reading the Sputnik magazine.
But don't the guys have the same,
No,
nowadays there's so many women, available for, I don't know.
That's not the same thing.
They don't not the same. It's not the same, but they have more options now.
So, okay. Yeah, so it's unfortunate. I wish that was the case, but okay, we'll just jump right into what I think is the biggest issue that men face in dating in 2022, and that's the super skewed marketplace. So we did some experimenting on this, and we created a Tinder profile as a hot girl and as an average girl. So the hot girl got 1,000 likes in 24 hours. Okay, it's a lot. The average girl, very average, I doubt me or Ayendei would go out with her, got 500 likes in 24 hours. Now, the interesting part is we created a profile as a male model. We're talking about cream of the crop, really good looking guy, male model. He got 130 likes in 24 hours. So the average girl does 5 times better than the male model guy. And then the average guy got 25 likes in 24 hours. So the level of options that the average guy has compared to the average girl is just insanely skewed. So that's one of the big issues that men face.
And it's not the same thing. You're talking about numbers. You're talking about amounts. That the amount has nothing to do with the dynamic. Because if a woman has 100 guys in her DM, That's 100 guys that she could sleep with, guaranteed.
Ayendei, can you just
Oh, yeah, that was close enough. I mean, so the options for women are guaranteed. You're talking about how many women there are out there for men to apply for, to hit on. So as a guy, you could say, oh, there's 100 jobs that I could apply for, but how many of those jobs are you going to actually get? For the woman, there's 500 jobs here that you could have. You could have any of these 500 jobs. Which one do you want? That's a lot of pressure on her to make the right choice, to commit to just one of those 500 jobs, and not have to wonder if any of the 499 other ones were a better option. So it's absolutely not the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, some of those options may have chlamydia or whatever, but there's still a lot of good ones out there.
Okay. Oh god.
So let's kind of dial in on this point. Yeah, I've just seen this, and I think it's gotten worse every year from my experience. I've been on Tinder consistently, and like just the discrepancy in the market is insane. And I think, this is my opinion, you can tell me if you agree or disagree with this. I think that humans are largely influenced by their surroundings and the marketplace. So, for example, let's say that you're going. Okay, let's take this example, like the whole thing that's going on with cars nowadays, right? Like right now, car prices are 5,000, 6,000 more because there's a massive shortage in the chips, right? So people who previously would never ever pay above asking price for a car, right?
Yeah.
That's like, you have to be like a sucker for that. Now we're paying 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 more because the marketplace is dictating this. I think it's the same thing that happens. The average guy, he goes on Tinder dating apps, he gets so few options that he's just like, oh my fucking God, I'll take anything I can. Then compared to the average girl, goes on Tinder and has fucking 500 options 24 hours. Suddenly she's like, you know what? Why would I take the average option? Why would I take the good option? Let me take the best possible option ever. And that's kind of like the issue with the marketplace. So I want to hear, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I remember when I used Tinder, I meet this guy in Tinder. My first date was in Tinder. I meet this guy. It was 3 years relationship. This was my first date.
Oh, it's good luck right
there. Yeah, and because I never used Tinder, and I don't know, just because I see a picture, and I don't know, it's not every guys I like, just because some pictures so stupid.
Pictures are stupid.
Yes.
I mean, that's really good luck that the first guy you want to dating for.
Yeah.
I don't think it's luck though. I think it's just she simply was new to Tinder. So
Right.
she went out with a guy on
maybe.
Tinder. She treated it like as if it wasn't from Tinder, not realizing that you could always go back on Tinder.
Because after this
You know what I mean?
because after this I never use Tinder anymore.
Yeah, because a lot of girls, like once they have a boyfriend or once they're seeing a guy, they stop looking at the Tinder. And then once they have an issue with the guy or they break up with the guy, then they go look at the Tinder and it's like, wow, look how much is accumulated. Look how many options have accumulated. So it's not I think that could be it more than a luck thing.
I mean, more in the sense that like she wound up really getting along with the first guy that she met up with usually. Because usually, when you meet up with people, like you just don't complete vibe. Like maybe you vibe enough to fuck them, but like for dating, okay, to give you an example, me and my girlfriend were talking about this. So she was saying, Alex, I don't think it's as easy as you make it out to be because I had to go through a bunch of guys to find you. I was like, how many guys? And Nitin remembers this moment. I was like, how many guys do you have to go through to find one of me? And she's like, 2. I was like, all right. I had to go through about hundreds of you to find one of you. So 2, I would give my left nut to be able to go through 2 girls. And the third one is awesome girl who I have, who I really like and want why to be with. It's more like I have to go through dozens and dozens of girls before I find one that's really good that I really like, especially for something more than just like, a one-night stand. So that's kind of the point is that like, there's probably an element of luck, but also the marketplace is definitely in your favor. I think it's extremely rare for a guy that they've never been on Tinder. They go on Tinder and the first girl they meet, they want up dating her.
Most popular marketplace for me is like Facebook. All times guys try to reach me in the Facebook.
What are you using Facebook dating or how are you using it?
Yeah.
You mean like the messenger, right? Like,
Messengers. Facebook. I don't know why. Just in the Facebook, most popular for me when I meet some people.
Can you talk about this? What's like a good approach that guy has taken that works well when it comes to Facebook?
Yeah, I know, because it's Facebook. It's not like Instagram. Is most like a platform for selling or something. It's like girls like post picture like
Facebook's like more personal.
yeah. Facebook is more I don't know, more like for work or something, more professional.
How did he approach you? How did he reach out to you?
And some guys try reach me in Facebook like
What did they say?
starting like for I like you art or something and
No,
And then
the
you
hard
start-
approach.
I was gonna say that like when I will respond to a DM if they show interest in what I do.
I'm gonna paint you like one of my French girls.
Well, like I like if they're interested in what I do, not actually saying like a generic comment like, "Oh, you're beautiful" or whatever. Like
That's usually
That
gonna be pretending though.
yeah.
Majority of the time, they're not interested in what the hell. I'm not saying every time. I'm just saying majority. There are girls that are doing something that's
Yeah, but you
super
get,
cool.
like-
It's interesting, but majority of the time, it's
Whatever.
He's literally using that because it works because it strokes your
Yeah.
ego.
You're right, but
I know a lot of people I meet on Facebook.
How many, like roughly speaking, how many guys have you met from Facebook dating?
none. From Facebook,
For me, no one.
Maybe 7.
Okay.
That's her thing. That's her thing.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But
This year.
this
This
year.
year, this week, man.
No,
This year. But wait, it just turned 2022. Joe. Okay, so can you think back to those stories? What were some commonalities besides like commenting on your work? But aside from that, like what kind of game did they have when it came to Facebook dating?
no, it's I don't know. It's not game because if I'm in a relationship, it's not interesting for me. But guys text me,
But if you're in a relationship, you met up with them, you said, or
no,
wait, I'm confused. So how many guys did you meet up with from Facebook dating?
7 before relationship.
Oh, before okay,
Yeah.
before the relationship. Okay,
Yeah.
so before you were in the relationship, when you met up with those 7 guys, just like try to think what were some commonalities between what they did. Like maybe,
Yeah.
for example, they video chatted you. Maybe
No,
they
no,
sent you a nice dick pic. Like what were the
I
commonalities?
go to it's like, after some conversation, I go to meet in real life, no Facebook.
Yeah, but what
Yeah.
what was it that the guys had in common that they said or did that got you to meet with them in person?
No, just
Because I'm sure there's more than 7 guys who hit you up. So there's a reason why
Right.
you chose those 7 guys.
Right.
no. Of course, it's more guys text me, but I meet some 7 guys.
Right, but why? Was it more?
What
looks or
made you
something?
what made you choose those guys over the other guys?
Maybe I have no time for another guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or was it just timing? Sometimes with women, I tell guys all the time, a lot of it with women is timing.
Yeah.
It's when you reached out to them, what mood were they in?
And
What was the
sometimes they're going
situation?
through something in your life.
Yeah.
and
Right,
like,
that's what I'm trying to say.
you're like,
Sometimes they're
"Fuck it,
really,
let me
sometimes they're
just date this
insecure
guy."
at a
Yeah.
moment. Sometimes they're really horny at a moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're vulnerable. Sometimes they want to piss off an ex-boyfriend. There's a
Exactly,
lot
yeah.
of different,
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
reasons why, and that's why sometimes guys meet up with a girl and they don't even know what they did to meet up with her, and then they think it goes well.
Had nothing to do with them.
Right. They get quote unquote lucky,
Yeah.
and then they don't hear from the girl again, and they
Yeah.
have no idea what they did wrong. It's like you did
Exactly.
nothing wrong. She literally just wanted something to do.
They're clueless all the time. They don't
Right,
know
she
why
just
they
wanted a
get
one-
first
right, she
to
wanted a
meet with
one-off.
her.
She wanted a one-off, She might not even give you her real name or whatever the case may be because she intended to just do what she did with you that one time and not see you again. That was the intention.
Dear God, they've been using me. One thing I find interesting, Ayendei, let me know your thoughts on this. But like girls and like smart girls, right, who are intelligent, they have a really hard time describing why something worked when it came to attraction. Like I've had this. I remember one time we had a full bunch of chicks that were talking about like Instagram, right? And like there's a really cute girl talking about, okay, can you explain what's a good texting strategy for a guy on Instagram? She thought about it for like 30 seconds. She's like, just be confident. And I'm like, oh yeah, I never thought of that. But like, I think girls have a really hard time explaining attraction principles. So I think it's like this is what the challenge is for me as a host. See, this is one of the big differences between this and the Fresh Off It podcast.
We don't even know ourselves. Like
I think you know intuitively, but you have a hard time putting into words. So if I show you a video of a guy acting in an attractive manner, you'll be like, yeah, that's attractive. I show you a video of a guy who's being like unattractive, you would know on that, but you just kind of have a hard time putting it into words.
You wouldn't articulate it.
Because you know what's attractive and what's not attractive deep down. Like you get a feeling. Like when you meet up with a guy, you can feel in the first 20, 30 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't.
5 seconds.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, women don't. They don't know. They absolutely don't know. They either feel it
I
or
think
they
you're the
don't.
same.
They either experience it or they don't. But they can't put it into words because they don't actually know what it is. All they know, like for example, two guys could do the exact same thing, but one guy within himself is more more attractive than the other guy.
Mhm.
Like for example, a girl said something and she was like, you know, you did this sexy thing, and I corrected her. I said I didn't do anything sexy. I'm a sexy guy. So me doing that activity was sexy to you because I'm sexy. And what she was referring to was the way that I ate a baked potato. I was eating a baked potato at
I
the
mean,
bar.
bro, I've seen you bake potatoes. That shit's fucking hot.
Well, we have a chemistry me and you. So
How can you find that sex?
I don't know. I'm fucking around.
right, but
I've never
that's
seen it be.
right, but that's what I was saying because and the way that I proved it to her is I pointed to another guy that was in the bar and I said if that guy was eating the potato, it wouldn't have been sexy. She was like, point made. You see what I mean? So eating a baked potato is not sexy, but if a sexy person eats a baked potato, now it becomes sexy. You know what I mean? And as far as women not being able to put it in words or articulate it, they shouldn't. Because women are animals, men are animals, we're animals. And if you look at animals, they have their sexual cues, but yet they can't talk. So something is happening there. There's a reason why this female of the species chose that male of the species. They can't talk. They're animals. They can't talk. They can't communicate with words, but they were doing something that allowed her to be able to make her choice. I'm going to breed with this one. You know what I mean? So I think we overcomplicate it when we expect it to be in words. We need to learn how to understand cues, give them and receive them. Because a lot of guys, they don't even know what women's choosing signals look like. They don't even know what a woman's choosing cue is. There's a lot of times I have to point it out, like, yo, dude, she's feeling you. And they're like, nah. I'm like, are you kidding me, bro? You didn't see what she did with her eye? What thing with her eye? And it's like, oh, fuck. Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think though, one important thing to keep in mind, and this is something that I'm reminded of very often, is that there's a significant percentage of guys who need like everything spelled out for them like super clearly. Like I can't count how many times I've had a client be like, all right, Alex, you're on a date with a girl. What do you do next? I'm like, well, you vibe with her, you know, you flirt with her. He's like, okay, how do you flirt with a girl? Well, you know, you make some jokes, you build some sexual tension. How do you build? Like they need like the most like dating for dummies
Like an
stuff.
instruction book, like
Yeah, like
steps.
Yeah. I remember there's one story. This was pretty funny. This one guy, he was like he didn't know what to do when a girl's back at his place, how to like make a move. And so he like wrote out like all the stuff he did. He's like, I was doing this and then I touched her here and then I did this and I did that. And it was like super detailed. He's like, he's like, but there was so much stuff that I forgot to have sex with her.
What?
Like there was so much stuff that he was focused on. He forgot to actually have sex with her.
Yeah, I've heard
so he
that.
was focused on all the little things.
Yeah.
Like he didn't actually like try to have sex with her because he was
Concentrating too much.
just focused on all the other stuff. Like, bro, you forgot the main thing right there. It's like you can do all this stuff, but if you don't have sex with a girl, you don't have sex with a girl.
You heard that that quote from Mike Tyson? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, guys. See, this is what happens with guys. Guys try to have like a plan. Okay, I'm gonna go and meet her here, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna da da da, and they're not realizing that.
Yeah.
What we mean when we say just be confident, because a lot of guys don't understand that advice. It's like, yo, bro, just be confident. What that means is be confident in every situation. That's what it means. Don't be confident because you rehearsed this shit. Because when you get with her, you're not going to get an opportunity to say what you rehearsed. And then you're going to have to adjust and adapt. And you're not going to be able to do that because you were relying on the plan, asshole.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, for example, let me just give a quick example for myself personally. Sometimes I'll be putting a lot of pressure on myself, you know, in posing rehearsal. And I'm trying to get my posing routine down for the competition. And then I realized to myself, I'm probably better off just getting on fucking stage and just improvising it. Because what's going to happen is, suppose I go on stage and the DJ plays a song that's not at the same beat as what my posing routine was. So now my posing is going to be off because of the music that the DJ chose to play. But if I just improv and I just react to whatever happens on the spot, now it's going to mesh well because I'm responding to what's actually happening in real time. And it's the same thing with dealing with a woman or women. When you get around people, that's why I tell guys all the time when they're like, oh, I'm apprehensive about talking to women. I'm like, no, your problem is you're apprehensive about talking to people, bitch. You need to know how to talk to men, women, and children. And if you can be good at that and be able to vibe with given conversation topic.
But
whatever might
don't
come up.
vibe with the children too much because the parents might get the
Yeah,
wrong idea.
well, don't be anywhere around children without their adults or whatever. But yeah, but guys, stop expecting to have some type of plan and just know how to go with the flow. That's the best advice, really, is be comfortable going with the flow no matter what that might be. Because a night might go bad. Like there could be things that could happen on a date or whatever. And it has nothing to do with you. Like, oh, you got a flat tire, or there was an accident, now there's traffic, and now you're sitting, on 95 for 2 hours. Okay, how you handle that is going to determine whether or not you can salvage the night. Because now the mood is ruined, she's upset, she's cranky. But if you know how to handle any situation, you can make that a fun moment. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to, and I agree with what Ayendei said. I think sometimes going in without a super specific plan is much better. You got to be able to freestyle it. That's like one of the big things I teach. So we're in agreement. All right, but I want to go ahead. You want to say something?
That's something that you have to say to men, like go and freestyle. So men usually like
we're
rehearse
calculated.
before going to a date.
Because we're calculated. Men are
Yeah,
very
the thing
calculated.
is that a lot of
Because
men.
I'm like, I'm just going for a date and just gonna be me.
But you're the female. That's
I'm
why.
Yeah,
not-
it's different though when you're a girl
I
because
never have a plan.
the thing is that the guy is out like 99 out of 100 dates. The guy's trying to get the girl. It's not the girl trying to get the guy. All you have to do is show up, be pleasant, like not like throw
It's
up on
interesting.
him. Yeah.
What goes through my mind and through men.
Don't
Even if you throw up on him,
It's
there's
my
like
mind
yeah,
is
guys will
this
still
guy
be
have
down.
to stay.
just
and
don't
he
ask him what he does
convinces
for a
me.
living. First question. Don't ask.
What do you
Don't
do?
ask him how much
What
money
do
he
you
makes
for
right off the
living?
bat.
What do you
I
do?
kind of like that question. I'm a sex and dating coach. Go ahead. But so okay, the point I wanted to make earlier, and this
No,
is
it's my first question. What are you doing for a living?
Yeah, the first question. What do you
Exactly.
do for a living?
Yeah.
how big is your
old are you?
penis?
What did you do
Hey,
for?
no, you
your
social-
But
first
sometimes
date?
you already know that before
Social
going to the
security
date.
number,
You have to know that
bank
beforehand.
account, everything.
Take your income divided by your penis size, multiply
Yes.
multiply it by your credit score, and I want you to give me your score.
Because I'm
That's
Jewish.
how it's gonna be in the future.
But so the point I was making earlier, because a lot of people also in the comments like say like, oh Alex, like you are like a little too nice in the podcast. Like you're like, here's one of the big differences between this and the Fresh and Fit podcast. Well, there's obviously a lot of other differences, but one of the big ones is the style of how I do the interviews. So my goal for this podcast isn't to prove a point to the girls, right? Which is a big thing with Fresh and Fit. They're not trying to extract information from girls. They're trying to shove information down the throat.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that girls don't really give a shit. Like they don't
Yeah.
care about your like Myron's like red pill theories, right? Like, they may not in the moment, but they're not going home like, you know what, Myron really made me think. So
I don't think so.
that's a waste of. I think that's a waste of a conversation, honestly. Maybe it's good for views and it's engaging and you can watch people fight, but it's not really that like informational. What my job is, and this is where I think skill as an interviewer comes in, is to being able to ask the right questions and create the right kind of atmosphere to extract information that a girl might not normally give. So that's kind of how I see my role in this podcast. It's not to teach the girls, it's to extract, right? Sounds kind of creepy, but yeah. So that's kind of so that's one of the key things I'll mention. I want to go back to the first point. So I'm going to kind of state my theory, and then I want to open it up and see if you guys have anything to add. So in terms of the marketplace being fucked up, it is what it is. A lot of times in the comments, also guys say, Alex, you don't talk about the problem enough. You just focus on little techniques and tricks. You're not focused on the problem enough. And there's a reason for that. Believe me, I'm fully aware of the problems. Like offline, when I'm talking to my roommate or I'm talking to my friends, I'll talk about all the time. The reason I don't like constantly talking about it on air is because I feel like it doesn't help, right? Just talking about the problems, you're not talking about the solution. It's the same thing. I have a neck injury. You've never seen me talk about the neck injury on camera because what the fuck is the point? I can talk about it for hours. It's not going to help my neck heal better. So I've never been a big proponent of just talking about problems. I think that's, one thing that me and, like, for example, some of the other YouTubers I've collabed with have in common. And whenever I see a YouTuber just talking about the problem over and over again, I'm just like, you're not helping. Just talking about it. You're just making you guys paranoid. But so anyway, so the problem is that the marketplace is super skewed against men in first world countries. So here's some solutions. I made a video on this and I outlined these possible solutions. And I want to open up and see what you guys think. So, and these are not like, I'm not recommending these. I'm just saying these are possible alternatives. Number one, move to a different country. Move to Eastern Europe. Move to South America. Like move to, like we're from Russia, but like the dating marketplace in Russia has many problems, but the dating marketplace there is a lot better.
That's why I moved to USA.
For women, it might be better in the US, yes, but I'm talking about from a guy's perspective. So move to a different country. Like I can tell you, for example, when I'm in Colombia, I can easily sleep with an attractive new girl every night without much effort. In America, like that shit is fucking hard. So second one is become famous. Like I know it's like really fucking hard, but if you become famous, then a lot of these issues go away. The problem is that's not practical for 99.9% of the guy. Now, one thing I fundamentally disagree with the Fresh and Fit podcast on is they constantly talk about like, oh, you want to be making six figures. Like once you make six figures, you know, girls don't give a shit. Like you can unless you're trying to be a sugar daddy and you're leading with your wallet. Six figures is not impressive in Miami at all. Like you're not gonna roll up on a day and be like, I make $250,000 a year, bitch. Like suck this dick. Like that's like, you know, girls don't really care that much. As long as you make enough to get by, like you're not like poor. I think you get to a point of diminishing returns. If you're multi-billionaire and you start getting access to exclusive events, then yes, it can be helpful. But if we're talking about a guy going from making $50,000 a year to making $100,000 a year, aside from him having more freedom, maybe in terms of his finances, it's not going to give him a significant advantage with women. That's been my observation time and time again. So really, the way to get that significant advantage is to become famous, get clout, because clout is addictive. The problem is, again, it's not practical for most guys. So that's the second solution. The third solution, and again, I'm not advocating this. I'm just saying it's a possibility a lot of guys do, unfortunately, is to be a sugar daddy, because you know, a chick might not show up on a date. Just, you know, we'll just invite her out. But if you say you're getting paid $1,000, chances are she'll show up. I'm not advocating this. I think it's a bad idea. I don't think men should do it, but it's unfortunately is an option that some men take. And option number 4 is be a fake sugar daddy, be a salt daddy. So this is something where you basically pretend like you're a multimillionaire and you get girls over and they think that you're going to spoil them with a lifestyle and you just bang them, right? So this is, I've talked about this offline several times. That's the 4th option. The 5th option is to really grind it out and play the game. So this means like, and this is the option I personally did for many years. And I think this is probably what Ayendei has done a lot in the past as well, is where you're really grinding it out. You're approaching girls, you're on Tinder, you're texting them. The problem is that it can become almost like a full-time job because the flaking is insane. So like, you know, I can remember 2 nights ago, I set up a date for 8:30, right? And then she confirmed, she's down, she's texting a picture of her dress. And then she's like, oh, Alex, by the way, I'm having a problem with my rent. Can you help me out? I was like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, of course not. Like
my grandma in hospital.
You're gonna get a lot of that in Colombia.
I have like found me. It's like you know, found.
So you're right. Right in some sense. I just want to finish the point. You're right in some sense. The only difference is in Colombia, you have such volume coming in that you can afford to screen all those out easily. So 8:30. So I spent 3-4 hours like texting that night to get one girl over, and by the time I got another girl over, it's like 11:30, and I'm just like so fucking tired, and like I just don't have the energy. So it can become a full-time job grinding it out. That's the 4th option, or the 5th option. I'm trying to think if there's any more. No, those are the ones that I see available. I want to open up and if there's any other solutions the guys can do.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I think every single one of those solutions, they still require game. I think a lot of guys don't realize that there is no way to avoid game. Game is always going to be the fundamental base. It's the base. Because let's say you're being a salt daddy. Okay, that requires game to pull that off. Yep. Let's say you're being a sugar daddy. That requires game to make it work for you. Yeah. If you're a sugar daddy and the sugar baby controls the dynamic, you're losing. You're defeating the whole purpose of being a sugar daddy. The point of being a sugar daddy is so that you can be in control and you dominate with the money, because people that make a significant amount of money, their time is more valuable to them than their money. So the money that you're giving to the sugar baby is no significance to you. You're actually paying for convenience. You're paying for the convenience that you're not going to get flaked on and waste your valuable time. Mm-hmm. You're giving that money that's less valuable than you being satisfied. Why go out on a date with a woman and spend your time with her if she's not going to actually give you what you want, the outcome you want? So again, it becomes a waste of time, even if the girl's on time for the date. So what I'm trying to say is, in order to leverage that sugar baby money effectively, it still requires game. If you're going to rely on just your looks, it still requires game, because women will get around a good-looking guy. They'll be attracted to him until he opens his mouth, and they'll be instantly turned off because he's not good at conversation. No. He's not he's not making a lead. He's not excited. Right. So they'll get bored of the good-looking guy real quick, and then they'll be irritated that he looks good and consider him a waste. And then what was the other thing that you said? The other option was
moving
getting rich.
Yeah. No, not rich, famous. It's clout.
Well, both of them. So making a lot of money now, right? I find that interesting that Myron always says that when you make a certain amount of money and all of this, all these other problems are going to melt away. His point basically is, when you level up, you limit the amount of issues you're going to have to deal with women. I find it ironic coming from him because he is leveled up. He owns almost 8 properties now. He's 6'2". He's making well over $200K a year, and women are still repulsed by him. I don't understand. You're supposed to have no issues. Your DM's supposed to work every time. You're not supposed to be getting exposed and girls showing screenshots of the conversation. You're not supposed to be getting accused of things by women. You're supposed to be having women going with the flow.
Exposed on DM.
Right. So I know plenty of guys that don't have any of the things that I just named, but you know what they do have? Game. They have game. So what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, game's always going to be at the basis, because even if you become a famous dude, the same thing will happen as a good-looking dude. Once they actually get around you, they're going to be like, yo, I hung out with Drake and he's a fucking cornball. And I've heard that plenty of times. I've been with plenty of women that have been with Drake, and they all have said the same
Really?
thing.
Drake?
Yeah.
I figured that guy would be like super smooth for some reason.
He's not. So the women that like Drake the most are the women that have never met him. The women that have actually met him and spent time with him, they all said they were bored. They just took the clout, they took the pictures, they hooked up with him, they got the gifts, they got whatever he got, and then they were gone. And that shouldn't surprise you. It shouldn't surprise you, because this is a guy that built his career on crying about how women didn't love him, appreciate him, like him, or whatever. So what makes you think that the money changed him? He's the dude from Degrassi. Let's not get it twisted. But he's extremely famous. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that guys think that these things make such a big difference with a woman. You know why? Because these guys don't know how to spot acting. These guys see these dudes with women and think, oh, he's getting the women. It's like, yeah, but look at her body language. Look at her facial expression. She obviously is only with this guy because he's going to take her to the Louis V store and spend $3,000. That's it. But she'll be with another guy that takes her to Chipotle's. And the body language will be natural. She'll be pleasant. She'll be fun. She'll be like all on. I don't want to touch you because you're a dude. She'll be all on him on Chipotle's while she's waiting. When she's saying double chicken, she can't keep her hands off of him. This guy's not loaded. So it's game, guys.
Ayendei, I completely agree with you. I should have prefaced my statement by saying this is all assuming you have some level of game.
Right.
So that's the preface that I forgot to say. So yes, I agree with you that game is fundamental, because even moving to a third world country, if you don't have game, like you're not good. I've seen guys travel to Colombia and they strike out because they have no level of game. So we're assuming that you have a solid level of game. But I think that, like, for example, I'll take myself. Like, I think I have a solid level of game, or so I flatter myself. But I think that in of itself is not enough unless you're grinding it out, unless you're really like putting in the volume. So I think that, you know, with a high level of game in Colombia, or even a moderate level of game, you crush it. I think that if you are a sugar daddy and you have some game, you can crush it. You're willing to spend money. I think that, you know, if you're really putting in the volume and grinding it out, you can probably do pretty well. But I think that there needs to be something in addition to game in the US to crush it, because I know myself and a lot of other guys that just relying purely on game, it doesn't, you get late, right? But you don't get the kind of volume, like, you know, like 3-4 hot girls a week, like that you want. So that's I guess what was my question is, what else besides the things I mentioned can a guy do in the US? Now, the only one I think I've left off the list is increasing your sexual market value, which is something, the route I think you took, right? I don't know if you, like, what was your main motivation for getting into bodybuilding, but I'm sure you can agree that it definitely helps with girls, right? So you know, you got the tattoos, you got the muscle, so that helps. But I think it only helps to a certain extent. Like, you are somewhat limited by your natural aesthetic. So if you're like a 5, you can level up to a 7, but you're not going to go to a 10 from a 5, right? Without clout.
I mean,
so I want to open it up to, like, what are some other things that guys can do, like, in addition to learning game, or some other practical things they can do to actually succeed in the super competitive, you know, out of whack marketplace that exists in America?
Okay, well, there's like information and exposure. So these are two very valuable things that you can offer females. The thing is, only certain females recognize the value of it. And when I say information, I mean when you literally can tell a girl how to solve her problems, like whatever her main problem is. Well, listen, when you're trying to start a YouTube channel, this is the, you know, you can give them a game plan so that they can become extremely successful in a short period of time. That's very valuable. But what if the guy can just like put it on a 1 through 10 list for him and say, here, do these 10 things in this order, in this way, and your channel is going to pop in no time, far faster than a guy's channel could have popped, right? And then there's the exposure. If you're exposing her to new people, places, and things, that's something that the average guy also can't offer. So I just want to clarify, when I say game, the definition of game, Myron's understanding of that is controlling women. The real definition of game is getting women to do what you want them to do on their own choice. Basically making women want to do what you want them to do. That's game.
Yeah.
I've seen sugar daddies that have so much game that the
Yeah.
sugar babies are calling them. Sugar babies are bugging them. Their phone keeps on ringing. Multiple sugar babies trying to get time with them. Instead of them trying to buy the woman's time, the time is like, damn, I need to get with this guy again, because when I'm with him, things get taken care of. He gives me a little something, blah, blah, blah. But he's too busy for me. He's not that interested. I think he's out with another sugar baby. So now she is pressured to give more value to try to keep this guy interested, to keep this guy buying her services. So in that case, it becomes a consumer's market. You see what I mean? But he did that with game. Whereas you could look at another sugar daddy, he's like, hey, I'm just leaving a message. I don't know if you got the other message. I was calling you. I didn't hear from you. I didn't know if everything's okay. Can you please text me back? It's like, what the fuck? You're paying this girl? You can't even get her on the phone? What happened? No game. So she's controlling the market then. So I think guys have to learn how to incentivize. Instead of like me trying to like come up with a specific strategy, I think just learn to incentivize. Learn to think in terms of what would incentivize this woman, and that would be unique. Because coming into the market, there's so many other guys out here. What's the difference between you and these other guys? One more thing that I want to say about game is game makes you intriguing. Game makes you interesting, because you see how she'll straight up ask a dude, how much money do you make? What do you do for a living? Yeah, because she wants answers right now. You worth my time or not? But when you have game, a woman is like, this dude is worth my time, but I don't know why. Why is he so confident? Why is he so comfortable? So he has to be valuable, but I just don't know why. I'm scratching my head. I don't know why. So now you're interesting. You're intriguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the incentive thing is a fair point. I think you do a pretty good job of that. Like, for example, because I'm not familiar, Ayendei did that painting, but I think like, what Ayendei does, like, like if there's someone you want to collab with, you'll do a painting of their dog, and that gives them like a strong incentive. Because if you're like a popular YouTuber, of course, there's a lot of people who want to collab with you. But like if someone paints a painting of your dog, that's pretty fucking unique. You're like, oh shit, like now I'm like curious about this person. So I think that's a good point. I want to open up to the ladies though. What do you think are some ways that men can incentivize women without actually paying them money for sex?
Well, like he was saying, for me, like adding value, like figuring out like how can you help her? It's a great way.
In ways that I think other guys can't. Most guys can't. Most guys aren't even realizing that they can help her.
Yeah, that can be challenging, but yeah, okay.
You have to get to know the person.
I think women don't always know what questions to ask, though. I think it's being good at knowing what information to give a woman without her having to actually ask you, because sometimes they don't know the questions to ask. But if you have the answers, you know what I mean, you're halfway there. And another thing is, I tell guys, to answer your question, which was another strategy, this sounds like a counterintuitive, like it sounds like, what? That doesn't make sense. I tell guys, hey, one of the best ways to get better at women, or to incentivize women to be interested in you and spend time with you and to give you their attention, is to have really good relationships with quality men. And they're like, wait, what does that have to do with anything? Well, if Natalia tells me that she's in real estate, and I say, well, listen, I got a couple of buddies that are in real estate. One of them has his own, firm, his own office or whatever. He's doing great. They're selling multi-million-dollar properties. I can see if he can help you out, if he can give you any advice, or if he can even put you in some type of internship, some type of program where you can learn and network and meet higher end clients. That's a strong contribution. That's a strong incentive to her, because you're helping her meet her personal goals just simply by who you could pick up the phone and call. Hey, Brad, what's up? How you doing, bro? Hey, what's up with you? Listen, I got this girl over here. She's in the real estate. She's beautiful. I think you could really do something with her. Oh, really? All right, send her my information. So
she really wants to close the deal.
Right. So meet other guys is what I'm trying to say. Know high quality guys, and that will give you a hell of a lot of leverage with women whenever they need something.
Yeah.
It's a way of paying her to get what you want out of her.
You're paying it forward, yeah.
I mean, I think there's like me personally, I not a fan of like anything money related, because not because I'm cheap or something like that, although maybe I am a little bit. It's more of like, to me, it's a massive turnoff if I have to pay a girl. Like even if like the girl's like, hey, Alex, I will bang you, just give me $10. Even that $10, like I can't do it.
I agree.
Like, $10 is nothing.
$10 isn't like more of a turnoff.
But that's like that will like kill it for me, right?
No. I never asked for this. Like they give me without my just like,
you don't have to ask. They just give it to you.
You just hand them like a form You're
No,
just
no,
like,
no.
okay.
If you have to
I never-
ask, then
yeah,
that's not the guy. That's not the
I
right
never
guy.
ask money for something. That's I just he always
He
they
offers.
always give me without my.
Well, I think that's actually, I want to touch on that later. That's one of the interesting differences between Russian culture and American culture.
Yeah, they take care of their women financially with no questions asked.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, that's like common. I mean, personally,
They
I'm
ask me,
not a fan
do you
of
want
that.
some money? I said, yeah, if you can help me, yes, will be cool.
I mean, what Alex was
I
saying.
want to start doing that, but when the girl says yes, I just give her like Monopoly money,
Yeah, you just do it before they ask for it, because if they ask for it, you're gonna be turned off.
or like I give her like IOU notes, and like these are like this note is valid for
No.
one
Yeah,
you know
my
ass
rules-
fucking
my
session.
rules
Like
never ask.
just give them like
Never
little
ask money.
weird makeup forms.
See, my thing with the money is, like I tell guys all the time, like you should not have a problem with like adding value to a woman or giving a woman money or buying a woman things or whatever, or doing things for women in general. That's not the issue. The issue is making it clear that I ain't doing this for nothing. I ain't doing this because you're cute, right? I expect something in return. And I'm not even talking about sex. I'm talking about like your behavior. I expect you to behave a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I expect a certain type of
Yeah, you do it if you want to do it.
right.
Yes,
I
I expect for you to be pleasant at least.
No.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like in other words, you need to behave. You need to
Exactly,
behave
yeah.
a certain
Be
way.
pleasant,
And then I don't
yeah.
have a problem doing what I'm doing, but you're not gonna just be using me. You know what I mean? You're not just gonna be
Right, yeah,
exploiting me.
it's,
No, we
but you
an
have to
understanding.
understand when you have to ask the woman to give something for her, like, baby, do you want something tonight in this store, Dior store, for example? I mean, you have to ask us. No, not we have to ask, baby, I want to buy these shoes on this bag. Stupid. I prefer guys who will ask
No,
me
offer.
what.
You mean offer, not
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Yes, offer.
I
I
got
mean,
I got
yeah.
a comment, and this is probably one area where I probably disagree with everyone on the panel. I personally will never do that, and not because I'm cheap. Again, like I don't mind, like if me and my girlfriend go out to eat, I'll pay for dinner as a gesture of goodwill, whatever. But to me, if I have to do that for the girl to behave pleasantly or for the girl to do anything, that's not a girl I want to be with in the first place. Like I want a girl whose attraction for me is 0% related to any kind of financial income I have. And so to me, if I have to incentivize the girl once I'm with her with like, shopping and stuff like that, I don't want to date that girl.
No, it's not about
But that's
shopping.
what I
It's
just
not
said, though.
about Dior. It's not about Chanel. It's about something what will make my mood up.
Yeah.
You
Attention,
understand?
attention.
Right, make you
Yes.
happy.
Attention.
Like you.
Which
like,
is a shame that those things do it.
tell
for
me
you, but
tomorrow.
yeah.
Let's
But
go
we're
to the
women, we're
ocean.
from
Let's
different
make some I don't know
planets.
picnic on the beach, like something. Like
Yeah, I mean, you
I don't want
you
to
guys
ask
buy
you
into
to
the
do
marketing.
something for me. I want you will be
to
like,
be able to do it.
yeah. For
I
me
mean,
something.
you and Alex are saying the same thing.
I mean this, yeah.
Yeah, you're both saying the same thing, technically speaking.
Yeah.
You're saying it from a man's perspective. You want the
exactly.
woman to already know how to behave that way, and you're saying you want the man to already take care of you and already spoil you. But what I was saying about not minding to spend the money, but you have to behave well, what I meant was I expect you to already behave well, and that's why I have no problem doing these things. That's what I
Right,
meant. It's
yeah.
not necessarily an exchange, is what I was saying. I was saying we're both supposed to already be behaving this way.
Well-
And that's why the foreign countries or the poorer countries, the non-Western countries, are viewed as being better as far as the male and female dynamic is concerned. It's simply because the women treat the men the same. Whether their husband's rich or their husband's poor, they submit and cooperate the same, to the same level. So if you're a woman married to a poor guy, you're a submissive, cooperative woman with a poor husband, and you're a poor wife. If you're married to a rich guy, you're a submissive, pleasant, cooperative woman that just happens to be married to a rich husband.
If you have
It's the same.
If you have poor husband, you can make him
Right.
a
But
rich husband.
Here it's selective.
Because it's
Right.
energy, it's woman.
Here
Right.
women,
Get a job, loser.
yeah, here women say stupid
No.
shit like "I'll be submissive for the right guy." It's like, what are you talking about? You're supposed to
Yeah.
already be submissive. That's how you get the right guy.
Because of this, in the first date, you have to ask him not about how much money you have
Yeah.
right now in this moment. How much money did you make before, like before today? You have to understand about his brain. Like, for example, sorry, I know the guy. He's like was rich and cheap like many times in his life. But for example, if I will be his wife, I will be sure about him. Maybe today we have money, tomorrow he lost everything, but I will be
He can get
still
it
with
back
him because
he can get it
and
back.
I'm sure he will make, like, he will find new new way for the money, new way for the business, and I'm sure about his brain, not about the business. Because money now you have, tomorrow you don't have. After tomorrow you have again. After tomorrow you
Sounds like
lost
he's really
everything.
bad with money
Life is
management.
like
That's what it sounds like to
up,
me.
down, up, down. Like
So it's not about the money, it's about the guy.
Yeah.
it's about the brain of the guy.
Right.
It's about the brain, about the person. It's not about the money.
I want to comment on two things. Or I guess one thing really. So we're talking about earlier. I think you brought up like why do men prefer to date women in like Europe or South America? So my theory on that is there's two reasons. Why are women, so much more pleasant in like Colombia than they are in America? One, I think it has to do largely with the marketplace because the marketplace there is so much more competitive for women. So, for example, I have a friend, right, and she's obese. She's a nice girl, but she's obese. She's clearly overweight. She got like something like 4,000 likes on Hinge in like 1 month, right? In Colombia, that would never happen. Like she would get like 5 likes, right? So it's so much more competitive. So if you're a girl in Colombia and you want to get a good guy, you can't be a bitch on a date. Like that guy is going to be like, there's a lot of other hot girls like you who are going to behave nice. So there's that, like the competition, the marketplace dictates that to a large extent. I think the problem is that the marketplace is so skewed in America. I think the second reason is probably culturally. I think there's a little bit of that, like there's some cultural issues in the West when it comes to like, how a woman should be. It's almost like glamorized, this idea of like, like being a bitch to a guy. It's like, yeah, girl.
The modern mentality.
In some ways, yeah.
They write books about it. Men love bitches.
Yeah,
but they don't. Though.
As a side note, no man loves bitches.
Exactly.
Yeah, unless he has like
that's what the women
he's
are
into
reading.
getting degraded.
I thought they like bad bitches.
I mean, like, in the sense that the girl's hot, yes, but not in like the fact that she's like actually misbehaving.
I mean, they're still not going to marry that. But I think what it is in that those countries, the women need the men because they don't have the opportunities financially. At the end of the day, that's what it is. The women would have to work so hard, so many hours a day, and they still wouldn't be making nowhere what the women in the West make. That's what it is. Here, women can make enough to have their own apartment and have their own this and have their own that.
So I disagree with you on that because we can take like Western Europe, right, where women do make money, as much money. Like let's take Scandinavia, right, like Finland or Sweden, right, where women make just as much, if not more money.
More, yeah, in Sweden for sure.
But the women there are a lot better than they are in America, right? Like I've traveled through Finland. There's no flaking, right? No one flakes. Women, they're pleasant. They're fun. Blah blah blah. So I don't think it's just the money thing. I think it largely has to do, again, it goes back to the marketplace and the culture, because the culture in Finland, there's no lie. Yeah, there's no like glamorizing a girl being a bitch or something like that. Like if you're a girl in Finland and you're like, yeah, I had a date with this guy, but I flaked on his ass, her girlfriends aren't going to be like, they're going to be like, oh, that's kind of mean.
But that's guys too. But that's guys too. There, that's what I'm saying. It's definitely like the whole culture, though. It's not just the women are expected to be nice and treat people well. The men there too.
What I mean? For sure. Yeah, there's an element of that. The culture itself is different. It's not just limited to women. But I guess let's kind of jump into my second point. So I think the second big issue that men face in dating 2022 is the sugar dating culture. I think that is this is just my opinion. And again, but I think that shit is a plague to men and women. And I'll explain why. I think it's a plague to men because you have a situation, right? A chick, an attractive girl, she goes online. She gets hundreds of guys who want to hang out with her. And, a lot of those guys are like, hey, I got tickets to this concert. I can do this. I can get you that. All these exclusive events, right, that maybe the average guy wouldn't have access to. Well, then a smaller percentage of those guys is like, hey, I'll actually give you money just to hang out. You don't have to fuck me. I will literally pay you for your company. That's how much I need your company. So that woman at that point is heavily incentivized. Like, hey, I have a choice between two guys. One of the guys, I don't know him. Maybe it'll go well, maybe it won't. But the second guy, same thing. But I know at the very least I'm going to get $1,000 out of it, right? So the incentive structure is like super fucked. I think the second thing that happens is the girl goes out with a guy who pays her $1,000 for the date, and the guy's creepy as fuck. And then she comes to the conclusion, oh, guys in Miami are just creepy as fuck, right? No, it's just the guy that, can't get laid and has to pay for it who is creepy as fuck, right? So because no guy with game is actually going to do that. So I think that it's a problem for men. It's like the pay to play culture is just like it just skews and said. I think it's a problem for women as well because women get conditioned to want easy money, and I think that's bad for women because it's like it's like a drug in a way. Like you do coke, it feels amazing, right? But there's if you want to get that natural good feeling naturally, you have to really you have to have a good day, you have to go to the gym, you have to accomplish something, or you can just get it with Like, right? So it's like the same thing. Like if you're a woman and you want to have money, chances are you have to like build up your business, or you have to start a brand, or you have to, you know, get a series of promotions at work. That takes time and effort. Or you can just bang an old rich dude, right? So it's like the incentive structure becomes like so fucked up. And so I think it conditions women to the wrong things. And I think it can get really bad to the point where I've seen that women literally will say, I can't get wet unless there's money being exchanged. Like I physically cannot get turned on unless I'm getting paid. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like this is insanity. You've literally conditioned sex with money to such a point that your vagina literally cannot get wet unless there's money that's being exchanged. Like that's insane. Like you just fucked over your sex life. So yeah, in my opinion, I think the sugar thing is just like a fucking plague, honestly. Well, I'll open up to discussion, see what you guys think.
I mean, they've done studies on that for sure, though. They've already made
I'm just appalled with
connection.
what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they made the connection. Well, I mean, another thing about that sugar baby thing that's a serious problem is, you know, if I had to equate it to something that guys deal with, it would have to be like maybe selling drugs. Because what happens is the women do it at such a young age. They're not even responsible enough to make that decision and to think about the future. So usually the girls catch on to it college age, because usually the excuse is the same as stripping. Oh, I need to pay tuition. So usually they get into it around 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 is when they start the sugar babying. And then what happens with that is they start getting gifts like $1,000 shoes, $3,000 handbags. Now, how do you go from that to dating a regular guy? It's going to be.
And how do you go from that to having a regular job? Like, how do you go from making $100,000 a month on OnlyFans and staying home to going into an office and making $4,000 a month?
Right. Now, if I could just say one thing from personal experience, when I started working at the strip club, I'm always interested in what the oldest, most mature, wisest person in the room has to say. So I spoke to the owner, you know, both of them. I spoke to the older guys. And one of the things that they told me is be prepared to never want to work a regular job again. because you're here making $200 to $1,000 a night. You got women screaming your name, throwing their panties and bras on the stage. You're getting money hand over fist. You're not paying taxes. You're getting it cash. You tip out the DJ, tip out the bartender, and you go home. The rest of the fucking money is yours. You wake up at 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon and come back and do it all again at night. You're not going to want to go work a regular job, even if it's well paid. Even if you're making 75, 80K a year in a corporate job, you're still going to be like, fuck this. I'd rather go back to the club and make 65, 70,000 a year, but work half the amount of hours and do whatever the hell I want and have sex with beautiful women whenever I feel like it. And the crazy thing was the fact that I got that information so early, I programmed and prepared myself to pull myself out of there with sheer discipline. Now, here's the thing. I also worked at female strip clubs, and I could tell you, women just do not have that level of discipline. Most guys didn't. Most guys would leave the club. They end up coming back, and they're making great money, but they will come back and admit, yo, I'm here for the attention. I'm here for the girls. I'm here for the pussy. You know how hard it is to meet good-looking women as a regular guy out there in the world? I met more girls in my underwear at the club than I did in a suit in the real world, and it's true. Because you might meet, you know, beautiful women in the real world, but they're not going to throw themselves at you. So it's really hard to go from indulging yourself to now having to work for everything and earn everything. And like I said, the average person just doesn't have what it takes. They don't have the self-discipline to walk away from it, especially not women, So these girls fuck themselves up and desensitize themselves at such an early age. The rest of their life is ruined and they don't even realize it. You're 25, the rest of your life is shit.
I'm agree with you, yes.
Yeah, you don't even know it. It's over for you now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like a girl, like if she, like I empathize for the girls in a way because like you have two options. One is you like, you know, when you're starting out, let's say you have a bachelor's degree, like you don't have a master's or a PhD, like a marketing degree. You know, your first job, you're gonna make 30, 40,000, right? You're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna be like the bottom of the corporate ladder. You're gonna have to, you know, come in at 7 a.m. You maybe not leave until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. You make 34,000 a year, or you can make 30, 40,000 a month by fucking showing your feet on OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the incentive structure is so fucked. So I can see why girls go down that path. I mean, you know, truth be told, if I was 21 and I could get 30,000 for showing my feet on OnlyFans, or I have to like get a corporate job, you know.
But as a man, you'd be smart enough to invest, though. You'd be smart enough to start your own business. You'd be smart enough to set yourself up for the future. That's
me personally, yes, but I think a
lot.
lot of guys don't. I think some girls do and some guys don't, but I think most people just don't. Most people are just like, the money is so attractive. It's coming in the moment. They don't even think about the future.
I say more so it's women, though. I got to be real. Because this is the thing. People think that like, oh, you sell drugs or whatever, man. You do the time. You're going to do the time. You sell drugs, you do this, you're going to go to jail. You're going to end up dead. Guess what? There are plenty of people that started off illegal and they're making ridiculous money legally.
Yeah.
The problem is you don't know who those people are because they don't raise their fucking hand and say, hey, you know, I started my business with illegal money. That's why you don't realize how many people are legitimately successful, but they had illegal origins. You don't know because they don't tell on themselves. The people that you know had an illegal past are the people that got caught and got penalized for it. So how many women dance for 5, 6, 7 years at the strip club because they had a plan? They told themselves, I'm only going to do this for 5 years. I'm only going to do this for 7 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to save my money, and then I'm going to open up this. I'm going to open up that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. In my experience, because I sat there and this is the type of things I think about when I'm at work. I can tell you right now, over 90% of these girls had absolutely no plan whatsoever. They started dancing, the money was good, and they lived day to day. They never gave themselves right. They never gave themselves an end date. They never said, I'm only going to do this for this amount of time, and I'm going to save all my money and get into something else. What happened was they made good money, so they went and bought a bunch of nice shit.
Yeah.
Then they made some money, and they went and bought some more nice shit. So now they're finally getting old, and they're aging out now, so they're not making the money that they used to make, and they're over here acting confused. They can't figure this out. Yeah, when you were 25, you're making more than you did at 29. And now you're realizing, oh shit, it's only going to get worse from here. Duh. Now, how much money did you save? None.
No.
But you got an overpriced condo that you rent. You didn't buy a condo. You got an overpriced condo that you were renting. You got a car that you were paying an extremely high interest rate on because you didn't have any damn credit. You see what I mean? And then when you open up your closet, you have thousands and thousands of dollars of shoes, thousands and thousands of dollars of handbags, thousands and thousands of dollars of makeup, thousands and thousands of dollars of dresses, but you have no money in the bank, you idiot. And you have no idea how much money you blew through in your career because you weren't tracking the money.
Yeah.
You weren't even keeping it. You weren't even like keeping any books. You had no accountant, no advisor, no manager, no nothing.
No investing.
Right, because they went in there with no plan. They went in there impulsive, and then they end up with nothing but memories.
Yeah, I want to open up to the girls, and then we'll take a bunch of questions, and then we'll get into the second topic. But what do you think overall about the? And just feel free to give your honest opinion. What do you think about the sugar dating culture, both for men and for women?
Sugar dating culture. I don't know.
What do you mean for men and for women?
Sugar daddies and sugar babies.
Yeah, sugar. Like, what do you think about that as a side? Because that's a pretty recent thing. That wasn't going on like 20 years ago. That wasn't popular. That's like a pretty recent thing.
No, I think maybe when you are young and maybe you will be do it like that. But I don't know.
That's something like I will never think about. I will never do because I don't want to get. Like
I'm
always in the
point.
He's not talking personally. What do you think about it? Like the industry?
Like personally, I fucking hate that shit, but that's just my opinion. Like I will tell you. Oh, sorry. I'll let you guys speak. What's your opinion? Go ahead.
No, like what do you think about what do you think about men paying women for time and sex?
I think for me it's like for me my time of my life is very expensive, and I don't understand women who spend the time for the money. I mean, like, I know girls, I know women who in relationship, long in family with the guys just for money. And I don't understand how you can spend time 24 hours, 7 days with the person which you hate.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, maybe short time I can understand. Like, short time, okay. Like smile, like on the date, on the dinner, smile, speak with them. That's it. Forget about this moment. Yeah. But 24 hours, family relationship, I can understand. No. It's not the point of give me $1 million. I can because it's like my time of my life. It's like 24 hours. I will speak with you, sleep with you, eat with you, spend time with you, everything with you. But if I don't like you,
but that's
I don't
Russian
want
male
to,
brides. What
I don't want to see your fucking face.
I hate you.
I can't
spend time with you.
For me, it's for me.
But
I don't know how much how much money you can give me for. I will be agree for this. I don't know how much money, but
I don't know how women do it. Like they don't have a conscience. Like
I understand short time, like a escort girl, short time, like 1 hour she spent time with him for the money, for the shoes, for the bags, for cars, for everything. It's I can understand.
That's
but
usually
not relationship. Not life, not family, not kids from the guy which you don't like, which you didn't love him. I can't understand this.
So just to clarify the way it usually works, is it's not like it's very rare that it's like, you know, you're spending all the time together. It's more of like you have an arrangement where like the guy's paying the girl, let's say 10,000 a month, and she hangs out with him like twice a week for a few hours. That's usually it's usually more something like that.
We pays usually it's just the guy pays.
It actually depends how much cost your time for you first. Your time. For me, my time is very expensive. It depends on the girl, how
trust
much
me,
money cost your time. If you can spend like few hours for the money, for some shoes, for some bags, for some cards, for something, you can do it. With this guy, sugar daddy guy, I mean. If you cannot do it, you can. If you can spend full life for him just for money, let's do it. It's your life. You are like managed. No, you are like.
I mean, I think, yeah, I agree. It's your life. You can do whatever you want. Like, I don't think it should be illegal or anything like that. I will say this, though. This, is, again, just my opinion. I obviously respect women in general, you know, as a concept. You know, there's some women who have a lot of respect for, like my mom, my girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And contrary to a lot of, you know, popular belief in the red pill community, if a girl's been with like, you know, like she's been with like a dozen guys or something like that before me, I don't really care. That doesn't make me not respect her. If she's been with hundreds of guys, that's a different story. But, you know, whatever, she had a healthy sex life. However, if I find out that a girl has engaged in sugar baby shit, like she's, you know, basically, you know, like been with a guy for money, I will lose respect for her, like pretty much entirely. Like I don't think I could ever like date a girl who's engaged. I'm not even talking about currently dating, who's engaged with in the past. That to me is just like a massive turnoff. Like
for me, like for you, like if the woman was a stripper.
Oh, I could.
Will you lose interest in her?
No.
Respect for her if he was a stripper?
No, not stripper. No.
But for me, it's pretty much almost the same thing.
No, it's really not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
And that's exactly what I was about to ask Alex, but go ahead.
To me, it's not, because the stripping, I think, is honest. Porn is honest, right? Stripping, there's nothing. You're not deceiving anybody when you're stripping. You're on stage, you're showing your tits. The guys are giving you money. It's a fair exchange.
You're not like deceiving anybody by being a sugar baby. He knows the deal. You know the deal.
So
you're not lying.
Yeah, you are.
So
you are. You're lying to everyone.
That's
you're lying to everyone but him. You're lying to the world. You're lying to society.
Yeah, I think you're lying to him as well, because a lot of guys.
That's my problem with it.
A lot of those guys are in denial. I think like very few sugar daddies are like, yeah, she's only with me for the money. It is what it is. Most of those guys
they all know.
Oh no, I think a lot of them are hardcore denial. They're like, well, you know, I'm giving her money, but I think what she really likes about me is my charm. Like, I think most of those guys are in a hardcore denial. And I think that it's like a game that the girl's playing. Like the girl's like pretending like she's really into the guy and she knows how to work his bun. She's like, oh, daddy. Well, maybe she wants.
For me, it depends, because there are women that are strippers and they lie about their job too.
Yeah,
you don't lie.
It depends on the age of the girl.
They have to you say it.
Right, you have to lie.
But if you lie about your job, being a stripper, being a sugar baby, being a porn star, that's where you lose respect for the person, because they're like hiding their lives. They're ashamed of it.
And it depends where they dance. It depends where they strip. There's cities and states where the nudity is illegal. Right. I'm sorry, if a girl works at a strip club or a titty bar where there's no nudity,
she knows.
Bro, she's killing it.
Yeah,
she's winning in life.
If you're
she's dancing around in a bikini. She's dancing around in Victoria's Secret lingerie.
Respect that.
I'm sorry, she's winning. But what I was going to ask you, Alex, is so the part that turns you off the most about the sugar babying is
the deceit.
Is the deception or the sex for money?
Both.
Because for me personally, I can relate to the position of sugar babies to an extent. Exactly. Because part of what the guys did at the club, part of what the male dancers did at the club, is they spent time with women for money. Now, you already know, you'd be naive to think that guys weren't sleeping with women for money. But I can honestly say that I never did it. And it's because I look at things differently. Whether it's bodybuilding, being a stripper at the club, being a YouTuber, no matter what I do in life, I always decide what my plan ultimately is with getting involved with this from the beginning, even selling drugs. What's my plan with this from the beginning? Number one. Then number two, what are my rules that I'm implementing for myself? When you're doing something illegal, the police, they're enforcing the law. That's the law. That's what the government decided. I have to decide rules for myself to govern myself. When I get into bodybuilding, I have to have rules for myself. How much gear am I willing to use? What gear am I willing? So you know what I mean? And you have to decide those things ahead of time, and you have to stick to it. Because what's going to happen is later on, you're going to start changing your mind. You're going to start saying, oh, I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it. No, now you're fucking up. Whatever you agree, whatever you decide to, you have to stick to that.
Yeah.
So when I became a dancer, I already told myself I am going to leave this place well before 40. I promised myself that. And I left at like 36 years old.
Yes.
I was, no, even younger than that, I think. Yeah, I was like 34, 35. I was out of the club. And the crazy thing was I left in my prime, and nobody could understand it. Why would you retire in your prime? Because I promised myself I'm not going to be one of these guys that kick around at the club until I'm 40 something and I'm older now and I'm not as good looking and my body isn't what it used to be and I'm not making what I used to make. So with the whole hanging out with women for money, I told myself from the very beginning I will not sleep with anybody for money. And like I said, I always speak to the oldest, wisest guy in an environment. And there was this guy Tyson that I used to look up to a lot when I was a rookie and I first started dancing. And one thing he told me, you know, in confidence, it was just me and him. And he said, Ayendei, I'm going to retire soon and I'm going to be content with my career. You know why? I said, why? He said, because I never did anything that I didn't want to do in this business. I never compromised my integrity. I never slept with a woman that I didn't want to sleep with. And I never slept with a woman for money. There's women that I slept with that give me money, but those are women that I would have slept with for free. And I took that and I added that to my list of rules and how I govern myself.
Yeah.
So I can honestly say, regardless of how much money a woman ever gave me, I never slept with a woman that I didn't want to sleep with. You see what I mean? Simple. So with the sugar baby thing, I had to get out of that because one of the things I realized is it made me desensitized to spending time with women genuinely for free. I didn't want to hang out with anybody for free, bro. Because what happened
that's the problem that chicks run into.
Yeah, that's what happened, bro. I didn't even want to hang out with my friends and family because it's like, bro, I got shit to do. Like I could go hang out with my boy and just have a good time, or I could go hang out with this sugar mama and I can make money.
Yeah, Tony Robbins talks about this. We're really wired pretty simple. Like people always try to overcomplicate the brain, but it's really a combination of pleasure seeking and pain avoidance. That's really how our brains largely work. And so when you start to associate money with, sex, like that, the pleasure seeking becomes that. That's a very hard thing to unwire. It's like, why do drug addicts have such a hard time quitting drugs? It's because, aside from the physical addictiveness, is the mental. You start to associate that. Like, why is, for example, something like gambling addictive?
Yeah.
Right. Gambling doesn't have any physical. You're not like getting into gambling withdrawal, but psychologically very addictive because the pleasure you start to associate with going to a casino. And that's like a very hard trap to fall out of. I think a lot of, chicks who go down the sugar baby route get into that. I do think there's someone, obviously everyone has their own personal preferences. I will just say this about myself personally. I could definitely see myself dating, like, for example, a former porn star, not current porn star, but a former porn star. So Lana Rhodes, after you get your baby done, hit me up. You're still hot. I could see myself dating a former stripper, right? Not current, but former. But I could not see myself, like, seriously dating a former sugar baby. Like, that is just, I don't know.
It's you just like.
They're just like, for me. I don't know if it's just me. I think there's a lot of guys who fall into that category. But I think that, like, that to me is just like, I don't know. I just like lose respect for a girl who like does that. Like, to me, it's just like the level of deceit and like just I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Ayendei?
Can I tell something? I have a girlfriend in Russia. She was she has a sugar daddy, 2 years. He was Muslim guy from another country. And he give her money, but I respect her because she saved all money which he give her.
Exactly.
And she bought apartment in Moscow. But apartment in Moscow cost like maybe similar like in Miami, so it's expensive.
Yeah, that's smart.
When she bought this apartment, she stopped to meet with him because she didn't like him and she didn't feel nothing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the way you're supposed to do it.
But I asked her one time why he need you. Why he spent time? He was married. He has a family.
That's why. But go ahead.
I don't remember country. Anyway,
and
she told me like because he didn't want this like bullshit from the girl. He just want to spend time like in real relationship, but short time, like small date, like meet, sex. That's it. No need to call him. No need to ask him where are you, what are you doing. And he was ready for pay for this.
Convenience.
Why not? If he was happy, she was happy. That's it.
Yeah, but she wasn't happy.
Problem?
That's the point.
I would say my argument would be that he wasn't happy.
He was happy. She was happy in this moment because she needs money in this moment. When she don't need money anymore, she stopped to meet with him.
And the reason why she's smart is because
Yeah.
she made it worth it. A lot of these women, why they're so emotionally damaged and scarred, is
Yeah.
because they did all these things they didn't want to do, and they didn't apply discipline to make it worth it. If I'm telling myself I really don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it for 3 years, if I save that money, invest that money,
She invested,
right?
yeah.
Now I made that thing that I didn't want to do worth it, right? People always bringing up me going to prison like it's some kind of knock on me. Bitch, I will never regret going to prison. Number one, because I went because I refused to snitch on my motherfucking team. That's number one, right? And that's why all my dudes love me and respect me till this day. We're all grown men. Most of them have wives and families, and they still love me because their lives wouldn't have been possible if I had snitched, right? That's number one. Number two, I made the best of my time while I was there. I got to a point where I was reading a book a day. Okay, so
Yeah.
the things that I learned and the things that I understood and the changes that I decided to make in my life and the awakening that I had while I was there is priceless. Who's to say I would have got that if I didn't do that time there? So I would never regret it. I've never regretted that. I made the best of that time. And even with the club, I have regrets with the club because I feel like I could have managed my money a little bit better. I invested in real estate and I ended up losing it in my divorce. So I did what I was supposed to do to make all those years at the club worth it, but I fucked that all up by trusting the wrong woman. So I didn't make marriage worth it.
Do you feel like
The marriage I regret.
Do you feel like you wouldn't? That's like a mistake you would never make because you've already like learned a lot from that. Like, do you feel like that was like a one-time mistake for you, and like you will never marry the wrong woman again?
Definitely. And I went into marriage being extremely cautious. I went into it looking at it like, oh, I don't want to end up like this guy. I don't want to end up like that.
Where do you think it went wrong? Where do you think it went wrong, man?
Where it went wrong is I made the mistake of thinking that being honest, maintaining a certain level of integrity, doing things right, trying to do right by my wife and my in-laws, I thought that all of that was going to be appreciated and it was going to be like dealt with fairness, and that's not the case. My mother-in-law fucked me over and my ex-wife fucked me over, and that's just the emotions of women. When women get emotional, all of fairness goes out the window.
Yeah.
They don't have those values. They don't have those morals. They don't have that virtue. Dudes, no matter whether they're upset or whatever, we have to stick to some type of a code. You know, as men, we should.
We should, but a lot of men don't.
Exactly.
A lot of men don't.
Well, the men that were raised by men tend to. The men that were raised by real men, because that's something that should be passed down to you from your forefathers. So, that's what was missing, is that even though I dealt with like everything that I did it selflessly in that marriage. You get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to do Sunday dinners with the family every Sunday. That costed me money. I missed money at work and I had to pay fines for being late to work every Sunday. But I did it because I was trying to do right by my commitment. I thought that was one of my responsibilities. But what happens is when the breakup happens, women don't care about you trying to do what was right. They don't give a F about that. Okay, like for example,
woman emotional,
right.
Logic,
like for example,
logic,
if you quit your job, or even if you get fired from your job, they're still going to give you your last check.
Yeah.
Okay. If women were that employer, they're going to justify withholding your last check. That's the problem with women. They're like, oh no, I'm upset and I'm hurt, so I don't have to do any of the things that I agreed to do or promised to do anymore. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
That agreement has nothing to do with your mood. You know what I mean? But
I do agree that women are a lot more emotional, but I do think that I've seen this like with guys time and time again, where they just, when they get emotional, like, like our favorite person, Myron, like he fucking, he talks about, oh, logic, bro, facts. But he's like the most emotional motherfucker ever. He loses his logic time and time again through emotion. Like, he just gets triggered. Like,
how would you describe
you
that?
crossed your legs a long way.
Yeah, but how would you describe that though?
How would I describe it? I don't know, bitch-like behavior.
That's my point. So it's a feminine trait, is my point, bro. It's a feminine trait.
I guess we could call that. Yeah. I want to get back to and I want to open it up for the questions. So I was telling Ayendei this before I donated blood today, so like I'm a little woozy and all over the place.
I want you to mention Lana Rhodes again, so I can make a shameless plug.
Lana Rhodes, don't tell me you banged her.
No, the shameless plug, guys.
The
shameless plug is that go to my channel.
You did a video today.
Yeah, my second to last video about her was about her, and it was awesome. I'll have him put the link in the description.
Yeah, I actually watched part of that today. It was a good video. Porn is the best.
Depend on the porn.
I don't watch porn, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
No, I don't really watch much either. I forget the point I was going to make. All right, let's just take some questions, and then we'll, yeah, I'm all over the place. We'll take some questions, and then we'll get back into the discussion. There's a few things I also wanted to bring up.
All right. So for the girls,
Oh, I was going to tell a quick story. Let me tell the story real quick before I forget. It was about the sugar dating thing. So this one chick that I went on a date with. This is a funny story. I went on a date with her, and everything's going well. You know, we're at my place, we're hooking up. Literally, she's like almost naked on my bed. I'm about to put the condom on. And then she's like, "Okay, so that will be $2,000."
No.
It's
I thought
best
you were
moment.
gonna say something different.
No, she didn't have a dick. No.
No. I'll tell you after you finish. I'll tell you what I thought you were gonna say.
I was like, 2,000 for what? What the fuck are you talking about? She's like, well, you know, we're gonna have sex, right? I'm like, that's usually what happens when I put a condom on. She's like, yeah, you know, I charge 2,000 for that. I was like, do you really think I'm gonna pay for sex? Like,
Right now.
are you serious?
She's like, it worked every other time.
What happened?
She's like, I don't know if you are or not, but that's just how I do it. I was like, but I thought we really had a good chemistry. She's like, yeah, we did. I like you. I was like, but so why do you want money from me then? She's like, oh, because I always get money when I have sex. To her, it's like I was speaking a foreign language. To her, it was like the equivalent of like I'm the guy at a grocery store who's trying to pay with
Where are
coupons.
you getting these women?
That's a story in and of itself. So anyway, so
$2,000. That's a lot.
So,
So
or
you
maybe
paid-
it was 1,000. I
So
don't know.
what
She could've-
happened after the
she
first
could've-
Not in
session?
Vegas, it's not.
So
Not in Vegas, baby.
I told her to leave my apartment. I said, get out. It was actually really funny. This is like me being petty, but as she was leaving, she like looked over and I had a bunch of bananas. She was like, can I have a banana? And I looked at her and I was like,
$2,000.
no.
$2,000.
And then and she got so upset, she like slammed my door.
Good job. Good.
And then afterwards, I just like ate my banana and smiled. Being the-
Bro, what I thought you were gonna say is, listen, I'm putting on a condom. I'm about to jump in the swimming pool. And she gets a call, says, listen, I gotta go. My sugar daddy wants. That's what I thought happened.
Oh,
She's like, oh, I gotta go get this paid sex. Sorry. I gotta go
But
get
they say that sugar baby, but that's not a sugar baby.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you're
that's a
supposed to tell
prostitute.
guys ahead of time.
Yeah, the line kind of
It's not
bleeds
more like a
over.
prostitute,
There's a
like a
lot.
sugar
There's a lot of
baby.
overlap between a sugar baby and a prostitute, and it's like the line definitely bleeds over. There's like a lot of
Right,
overlap.
yeah.
But yeah, let's get into the questions.
okay, so divorced guy with kids. Do you recommend putting that in your dating app profile? Would you let girls know this, or should you hide it for flings and only let girls know when it becomes serious?
Let's let the ladies answer that, and I'll give my thoughts.
Like put in like in the bio or like information.
Yeah, in the
like,
bio, should you
he's
say
a-
divorced guy with
After
kids?
the-
With
After
kids?
divorce?
No, I don't think so. No.
Divorced guy with kids, small penis,
Yeah.
premature ejaculator.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, I say no.
Cool. That's a no. Okay.
What? You don't?
No.
You guys don't have any feedback on that one? Can I just say that the way that he phrased that whole question, you're all fucked up. You're all backwards. The way he asked that lets me know how fucked up he is. First of all, why would you be putting unnecessary information? Jesus Christ. What would be the value of putting that information in your profile?
Let me explain his thought process, Ayendei, because I actually know exactly where he's coming from because I've had this question so many times. So he's doing it because he's worried that when he goes on a date with a girl and she finds out that he's a divorced guy with kids, that she's going to lose attraction. So he's trying to preemptively get. I agree, it's a bad strategy.
No, I understand why he's doing it.
That's where he's coming from.
But what I'm saying is the fact that he's thinking like that is how ass backwards he is. Because not only did he say that first thing, that's ass backwards logic, but then he said, or should I hide it? Like, dude, you fucked up both ways because you're thinking that those two things are different. That's on the same dumbass wave of thinking. Number one, you're giving information that isn't.
You don't
It's not important. That information.
You don't know her that.
That information is not important until after you've already gone on a date. Is what I'm trying to tell you. He's acting like that information has something to do with getting the date. Like, no. That's neither here nor there. Her being attracted to you and interested in you is why she goes on the date. On the date is where she finds information, stupid. So why are you answering questions?
That's how you found out how much she likes.
That's like me asking a chick.
After knowing
That's
her.
like me asking a chick, hey, can I do an interview with you? And she says yes. And then I start asking her a bunch of questions before I start the interview. What the fuck is the point of that when I'm about to put the camera on, put the microphone in front of her face, and ask her all those same questions? That's stupid. So why would you be giving all that information in the dating profile when those are the things that you talk about when you're getting to know each other? That's number one. Then him using the terminology hide. There's a difference between hiding something and not mentioning something until asked. That's two different things. Hiding means that you would be lying about it if asked. You get what I'm saying? So if those things are important to a woman, guess what she'll do? She'll ask you.
Yeah.
All right, well said. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Random question. Could you guys ask those girls if they prefer to be touched more or less on the first date? Depending if they met the guy online or somewhere else.
So the question is there a correlation between how much they like to get touched and where she met the guy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a really tough question for a girl to answer. Like,
Wait, read it again.
Okay.
Read it again. I don't think that's
The
No,
question-
wait. So could you ask those girls if they prefer to be touched more or less on the first date, depending if they met the guy online or on somewhere else, like in the bar or something?
No,
Alice, you got a lot of work on your hands, man. You got a lot of work on your hands with these guys. Dude, whether or not a woman wants to be touched by you has nothing to do
Exactly.
with that broad ass question. It has to do with how attracted she is to that particular guy.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I've gotten like super used to it.
One guy could touch her on the first date, one guy could never touch her. You know what I mean? What are you talking about, bro? It's whether or not
It
she's
depends on
attracted.
the guy,
Right, it depends on how attracted she is to the Jesus Christ.
That'd be funny. Like a chick is on a date. She's like, I really like you. And like, honestly, you're exactly my type. But we met on Bumble, so I can't have you touch me that much. That's you're touching me like a Tinder guy. You're a Bumble guy.
It's the same thing with nudes. Should I ask for a nude? Bro, whether or not you're going to get a nude is not about whether or not it's appropriate at this time to ask for a nude. Whether or not you're going to get a nude is how that girl feels about you and how that girl is as an individual. Is she even the type of girl that said nudes, number one? And number two, are you the type of guy that she's attracted to enough to send nudes?
As a side note, I fucking hate it when chicks all they want to do is like exchange nudes. I hate that stupid shit. Like when a chick is
I
sending
hate that.
when a chick is sending too many nudes, that's almost a red flag
It's
because she's gonna
annoying.
flake. Because I found that the chicks who want to really exchange nudes are always so fucking flaky.
They just want the pictures.
They just want the pictures. Like, yo,
Weird.
how many dick pics do you need? Like there's so many free ones on the internet.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Let's move on to the next question.
There's just conversations. There's not questions.
There's no questions.
No. I
Okay.
mean, there's so many conversations, but like no questions.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we can start a discussion. Let me go ahead.
There's one thing that I wanted to mention before I forget, because you were mentioning how, like, obviously Americans, we have advantages in certain countries, third world countries, and whatnot, and what else. But I want to make it clear to guys that there is a distinction, because you have advantages in those countries because of where you're coming from. But do know that those guys that are in those countries are suffering as much, if not more, than Americans. And I'm gonna tell you why. If you're talking about like the Philippines, Singapore, any of these poor countries, what's happening is those guys are having an extremely hard time with the women because America keeps exporting shit like Tinder. Tinder has wreaked havoc on these countries because what happens is the women can have no passport, they can have no fucking money, but they jump up on Tinder passport. So they're on Tinder for free and they're being shown in all these Western countries for free. So now they have no interest in the guys in their country because they're too busy fishing, trying to catch a guy from a Western country and get him to pay your expenses to come over, or for him to come there and basically come get her. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the women are actually sourcing men through Tinder that they normally would have zero access to. Normally the foreigners would have to actually come to their country for them to have access to the guy. Now they're using Tinder to meet these guys. And I've noticed that. I'm like, wait a minute, why the fuck are you on here if you're not planning to come to America anytime soon? Oh, just to meet people, make friends. Bitch, stop
I
it.
meet
Bitch,
in
stop
Tinder.
it.
I meet in
Stop
Tinder
it.
my
Right, what you're
my
trying to-
boyfriend when
Right,
I've
what
been
you're trying to do
3
is
years.
you're trying to find a come up. You're trying to meet a guy on Tinder and then get him to come to the Philippines. You know what I'm saying? Get drunk off the pussy in the Philippines, and the next thing you know, he marries you and brings you back to America. And what Tinder allows them to do is spread that net so wide and play the numbers game. Because they could do that with 100 guys, and out of those 100 guys, one of them is gonna fall in love and marry this chick and get played like a
But
sucker.
it's not depend on the country. It's not depend on the girl. It's depend on the person. For example, I don't have like American passport. If you can give me American passport, I can give you 15 minutes of my life. That's it. It doesn't depend on
Only
me because
15?
yes, just 15 for American passport. That's it. No more.
The going rate is
because
like
for me, my time
25,000.
is like very expensive. 15 minutes, guys, no more.
That's
I
This
thought
is
I
mine.
charged a lot now.
This is my
right.
prices.
That's the
It's
point.
like, I
That's
love you, but I love myself more.
right.
Yeah,
that's,
it's a
that's
joke,
the point.
but
That's the
I
point
mean
that I'm
this.
trying to make.
I want at least 25 minutes and some borscht.
The
15
problem is that women women corrupt.
including
Women,
girls.
women corrupt everything. That's the problem. Women corrupt every service, every product, every
Yeah, I understand
platform.
what you mean.
They corrupt it for their own use. It's like Tinder is for this particular thing, but women are going to use it and corrupt it and manipulate it for what they want.
Most of
So if a
women,
chick
not
is a
all.
sugar baby, now she's using Tinder to get sugar daddies. You see, if she's a masseuse, now she's using Tinder to get clients for massaging. If she's trying to get a passport or a visa or whatever, she's trying to get married for papers. Now she's using Tinder to find a sucker that's going to marry her for papers, and she's fucking it up for everybody else because that's not what Tinder's for.
Let,
You know what I'm trying to say?
let me weigh in on this. So I have a few thoughts. One, I agree that Tinder would be a lot better if they got rid of the passport feature. I think that would be a million times better.
I meet on Tinder my boyfriend. Like we live together 3 years.
No, for sure. You can legitimately meet. I'm not. You can. I met my girlfriend on Bumble. My cousin
Yeah.
met her
know?
her husband on Tinder.
Exactly.
I know millions of stories of people.
That's
Who,
people using it properly. Though.
yeah, exactly. So
I don't believe in the
What
Tinder.
is
Yeah.
Yeah, most people are not. Most people are abusing it. They're using it
Yeah,
for
I don't
women.
believe
Women are
in
using it
Tinder
for free
stories
meals,
too.
bro. I had a girl do that to me. Listen. I had a girl do that to me, and I flipped it.
Postmates, no Postmates.
It was my
Tinder.
first date.
All right, well,
First, like I just open profile.
I think
Why-
Tinder
why
or
are you going to Tinder? Go to Postmate. You're hungry now.
yes, I think Tinder or something else is like more. It's more easy way for
Yeah,
the people, for guys or for women who have a problem for meet in real life. This is more easy way for them.
That's what it's for, and what women are using it for is to get the things that they want out of men.
we're going on
They're-
separate.
they're-
But
Those
men are
conversation
giving
threads.
those
Using
things to them.
Let me just get a few
Men
points
are
in.
enabling them to behave like that.
So I agree with you on that. I agree that the only reason that girls can pull off being obnoxious sugar babies is because of the men. Because
Men are suckers.
if men stop, well, not all men.
Yeah,
You know, there's some men who are
No,
suckers.
Of course,
So
if men
men,
stop
so men.
sipping,
Yeah.
the world will be a better place.
Yeah, I do think that. Yes, I agree with you on that point. So I want to go back to the earlier thing we were talking about of different countries, because this is a discussion me and my girlfriend have a lot. And so she has the same argument as you. She says, Alex, the reason that you're saying that you do so well in Colombia is because you're an American citizen, you got that U.S. passport, and that's her argument.
15 minutes, don't forget.
Yeah, I'll keep her 15 minutes a month.
Nothing more.
I give you 15 minutes.
Okay. So here's my counterpoint. I think that's a small part of it. I do think that the fact that I'm a U.S. citizen when I go to these countries definitely gives me an edge. That being said, I have more than enough clients who are locals who live in these countries to have enough data to say that even if you're a Colombian guy living in Colombia,
Oh yeah.
it's easier there than an American guy living in America. Just simply because one of the culture and two, the marketplace is better. So yes, obviously living in a third world country has other problems, like whatever, all the millions of problems that comes with a third world country. But I don't think dating is one of them. I think if you're a guy living in Eastern Europe, you have an edge over an American guy living in America in terms of dating prospects and sexual marketplace. Again, just because the marketplace there is better. So of course it's better if you're as American, you go to Colombia, but that Colombian guy is still going to do pretty well. And this is just coming from experiences of a lot of clients and whatnot.
As a no, I would definitely co-sign to that, and I was trying to do some type of a video content proving that, but it just became really awkward because I wasn't trying to like interview people and talk to them. What I was trying to do is get footage of guys with their girlfriends to show people here that even the shortest,
In the bushes, like
nerdiest, you know what I'm saying, lamest, corniest, poorest, brokest, ugliest guys
wow.
have dates in these countries. And the best way that I could explain it and describe it was this. If you are in certain countries, for example, Mexico, Honduras, Panama, if you're in countries like that and you can afford to do something times 2, you'll have a date. And what I mean by times 2 is if you could afford to buy a steak dinner times 2, you got a date. If you could afford to buy a movie ticket for the Avengers times 2, you got a date. It's no, I'm serious. It's that simple. If you could pay your way and another person's way, you got a date. That's it. So you see guys in general, nothing attractive about them, but they're with average to above average attractive woman simply because they can afford to pay her way and their way. That's it. In America,
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Yeah,
In Western
I-
countries, that's not enough.
Yeah, I think the marketplace there is better, and the barrier to entry is lower. Like the barrier to entry in Tinder in Miami is fairly high. Like you can't roll up to Tinder. Well, not roll up because you're not rolling up anywhere, but you can't like get a bunch of like selfies and maybe a few shitty pictures, and you're like an average guy with average photos. You're not going to do well on Tinder in Miami. But you might do somewhat decent in in Colombia with that kind of profile. Like here, the barrier to entry is pretty high. You need really solid photos. Like you need to have your SMV on point. Like if you're just average, you're not going to get average results. You're going to get below average results. But okay, so let's move
For
on.
Brazil, you will be good.
Brazil is great.
Yeah, Brazil.
Guys.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can, yeah, if you could work remotely, take your ass to another country
Yeah.
for sure. And a lot of guys,
You got that sex
a
appeal.
lot of guys is with that nice guy, you owe me bullshit. For me personally, I'm extremely turned off and irritated by that mentality. But there's so many guys that are like, I'm a nice guy and I treat her well and I took her out, I paid for dinner. She should like me, treat me well. Like I'm repulsed by that because I was raised mostly here. I grew up mostly here. But I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah,
in
my Porsche is coming. I forget my Rolex today.
In a lot of these other countries, that's the deal. If you're just nice and respectful to the girl, and you pay for her meal and you pay for her stuff, she'll go out with you and she'll be nice and she'll be pleasant. That's enough. American women or Western women, they're way more anal, more picky. You know what I'm saying? They complain
I'm so
more.
picky.
Yeah, you know what it is? They're looking for all of this above and beyond. They're looking for this exception. Where in these other countries, women are just looking to be treated well. Now, I will say this. I'm not saying that's going to get you burning desire. I'm not saying that's going to get the pussy wet because it's not. A lot of times these guys go out with these girls, they have a great time, and then they take these girls home, and that's it. They give them a hug, a kiss on the cheek.
But Ayendei, I want that burning desire.
Yeah. No, but what I will say is you will get that that reward pussy. Like here, you do all that simp shit, and all you get is the pat on the head from the girl. I had a great time, thanks. In these other countries, you'll eventually get the pussy with that. It won't be that wet, genuinely attracted to you, pussy, but you will get that. He took me out 6 times, and he's a nice guy, and I'm only seeing him right now, so okay. Like the girls will give you pussy, basically as payment for being a nice guy and treating them well, and taking them out, having a good time. Me personally, I'm not interested in that type of pussy.
Yeah.
I don't want that lackluster pussy. I don't want that.
No.
Okay, I owe you because you've been such a nice guy. I don't want it, but I know plenty of guys. They fall in the average or below average category, and that's the deal that they want to make. They're happy with that deal.
Yes, my problem, I don't know. I'm so picky, and I don't like anyone. I like someone. I don't know.
Yeah, because you're here. You're here. You want the best that you could get.
Yeah, because I know what I want. I know what I want. It's like
But you're seeing it though. It's in your face. You're seeing it. In a lot of these countries, the women are humble because to them, these things are not necessarily that obtainable. Yeah, if you got it, you'd be lucky.
Yeah.
But the women here figure if you get it, it's like you deserve it. Like you're expected to get a guy that's tall, good looking, and makes great money.
I think
these countries, they know that's
I think a humongous part of that. I do think part of it is culture, but I think the biggest part of it is literally has to do with the marketplace. And the reason why the chicks in America, have like the insane expectations is because there's guys bombarding their DMs left and right. And so like, let's say, okay, you see this effect quite often. A chick moves from South America and she's a nice girl. And within 3 years, she's just like an entitled sugar baby, right? Why does that happen? Has she fundamentally changed? No, what happened is she came to America and hundreds of guys started hitting her up and guys are like, hey, you're so beautiful. I can make you so much money. Hey, I'll give you $500 to eat dinner with me, blah, blah, blah. And after months of that, her personality and her opinion of herself and of men started to change, right? And so that was influenced by that. So I do think largely it's the marketplace. And I do think that on the women also. Yeah, if I could get every guy in America in a group chat and be like, yo, we're gonna commit to 1 month of no simping, everyone. Like if you don't fucking
change the game,
yeah, you're gonna fucking become we're gonna castrate you if you don't commit to this. Like shit would change. 2 weeks of chicks going through like simping withdrawal, like things would start to change. Like you see different attitudes, you see different goals, you see a lot of different shit.
Sipping by far,
we need a simping detox.
Sipping by far is the biggest issue.
Hashtag simp detox.
Simping is the biggest issue. It's why women believe all the lies they believe, because simps don't have the balls to tell women, no, you are wrong. They don't have the balls. So women get to 20 something, 30 something, 40 something, still thinking the dumb shit that comes out their mouth is true or accurate because all the men that they've been around never had the balls to say, listen, I know that you look good and you're hot or whatever, but you sound like an idiot and you're wrong. And I don't care if you're not going to have sex with me because I'm telling you something you don't want to hear because you probably weren't going to have sex with me anyway. The problem with these dumbass simps is they're not going to get the pussy regardless, but they're afraid to be honest with the woman because they're like, if I'm honest and she gets upset, I'm never going to get the pussy. So it's all of these empty compliments that they get on social media, what he's saying, in combination with not just correcting women and being honest with them when they say and do dumb shit. So because women aren't openly criticized by men, and because they're constantly showered with all this free attention and free validation, they're all walking around with these warped egos, and it's ruining everything. And it all comes back to the simp. At the end of the day, it all comes back to simps. Women expecting something for nothing, that comes from simps. Okay, women just thinking they can get paid for their time, that comes from simps. It all goes back to simps. Thinking you can waste a guy's time and not put out and not be honest from the beginning that you're not attracted to them. Again, it all comes back to the simp behavior.
Those motherfucking simps.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
Girls, are you a firm believer that the one comes with time?
I don't understand this question.
Wait,
Me
what?
too.
It's
The one-
like when you're
the
not
one.
looking, it will show up.
We don't believe what?
It's a silly question.
know.
Yeah, like what?
Tell me in Russian.
Translate, please.
Okay, it's ты веришь, что it's like the first time my audience ever heard me speak Russian. Ты веришь, что этот кто один правильный для тебя, это просто так придет со временем. То есть если ты просто так будешь тусоваться, что со временем тот правильный он придет.
Нет,
Is
ты
that a
можешь
female,
потерять
is that
этого
a female
правильного.
asking that?
No, it's a dude, I bet.
Because that was a very
No,
feminine
I
question.
believe he will
That
not
was a
come.
very Disney.
Yeah, that was a very Disney feminine.
If someone
Question.
come to you, it's like a
No. I don't
for
believe
something
he
anyway.
will not come. I believe I will find him.
Yeah,
It's not like he will not come.
Life doesn't work like that for men. Men have to go out there and take what
If
they
I
want from
understand
the
your
world.
question.
It doesn't come to them with wishful thinking, bro. Come on, man.
It's an odd question. Let's move on to the next question. I want to like save the time for interesting discussions.
Does the one come with time? Jesus Christ. Let's keep reading.
Let's send some questions.
You're lucky.
Question for Ayendei. How does Myron go about hooking up with girls from his podcast after the show ends?
He like gets really close to them. And no. I'm being honest. He this is what happens. Everybody gets up when the podcast is over. Everybody gets up and there's a lot of movement. It's loud. There's a lot of people getting their purse, grabbing this. The girl that he wants to fuck, he goes over to her and he starts like pretty much whispering in her ear, like, "Hey, you hungry? You want to get something?"
I'm a high value man.
No. I'm telling you legit. I'm telling you it has. I'm fucking it up, Alex. So what he does is while everybody's distracted, like grabbing their stuff, exchanging Instagram, like the girls are exchanging Instagrams amongst each other. Everybody's getting back their phone, checking who called.
Wait,
and
ladies,
texted
hang
them.
on. We gotta do it one at a time because the
Right.
audience-
Everybody's checking their phones to see who called and texted them in the 2 hours that they weren't allowed to have their phone. And while all this distraction, diversion is taking place, Myron gets real close to the one that he likes, and then he leans into her ear and he's like, "Hey, you kind of hungry? You want to get something to eat? Do you like sushi?" That's what that 100. I'm keeping it 100 with you. That's what happens. And the next day, when you come over to his apartment in the afternoon, like 1, 2, 3 p.m., whenever he wakes up like a vampire, whatever chick creeps out, that's the one that he was able to get. Not that he seals the deal every time, but that's how he does it.
I'm surprised Myron gets laid at all. Honestly, he does have that kind of like weird brute confidence. But what I've seen like with him is we had a chick on the podcast and she was telling the story. She like went out with him. We didn't even know this. Like we didn't know this when we invited her on. We just found out later because she was like, "Oh, I see you're like whatever your friends, following this guy on Instagram, Myron." I was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Oh yeah, I went on a date with him," but the story was pretty funny. So they went on a date, and they were like literally having dinner, and she was like, "Hey, so what are you looking for?" And he like gave her apparently like a very roundabout answer, and she like just playfully teased him. She's like, "Well, that doesn't tell me much. Like, can you give me more details?" Like just giving a guy a shit test. And then he just went off and gave her like a 20-minute lecture about like how like, "Oh, I'm a high value man," and he just like started lecturing her. And then he's like, and she's like, "Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you." And he gets up. She's like, "Okay, date is over." This gets so
He
fun.
said that.
Yeah.
Date's over.
Yeah, but he says that like dude, like he says that to multiple chicks. I got several text messages in my phone right now, girls talking about, "Hey, like Like the tall guy, like hit me up to go out, and I didn't want to go out, and then his mood changed completely. He started insulting me. This is how he deals with it. Like Alex said, he's surprised that Myron gets laid. I'm surprised Myron doesn't get laid. Like I've said this many times, Myron, I'm fascinated by how he repels women because all the no, and I'm not trying to knock him. I'm actually trying to give him credit because all the guys that I've been around that are tall have the opposite effect on women. And the guys that have the combination of being successful and tall, it's like, amplified that much. And then the guys that are successful, tall, and fit, it's like they never missed the basket. So I'm like, how does this guy miss so many of his shots?
And he has clout.
Exactly, and he has clout. Yo, Myron, if I had to put a percentage on it,
paper, he has it all.
if I had to put a percentage on it, Myron nails somewhere between 10 and 20% of the girls that he tries. I'm sorry, that number to me is extremely low. I know it's a numbers game, but in his position, he should be in the 80 percentile. I'm sorry.
Less than a beginner.
I'm sorry. There's no getting around it.
That's like higher than I expected, honestly.
Right. If you're over 6 foot and you make over $100,000 a year, you don't have a dog ugly face, and you can see your abs, you should be in the 80 percentile with women. If you are not, jump off a fucking bridge without water under it. I'm sorry. I'm just being legitly honest. I've been around plenty of guys as an athlete. I've been around plenty of guys that are tall, and somehow when you're tall, women can get pregnant just by giving you a handshake. Okay? That's how bad they want your baby juice in them.
Yeah, I do think Myron would be better off if he just pretended to be a mute and he was just like,
oh no, he talks his way out of the pussy. He talks his way out of it. There's many girls that would have gladly been with him if they didn't find out how much of an arrogant dick that he is.
But let me finish the story because it gets funnier. So yeah, it gets a lot better.
I
So,
thought when you said like the
No.
There's more.
No, there's more. So he's like, okay, date is over. She's like, okay, and then he makes her pay or whatever. All right, whatever.
What?
Yeah, so she's like paying not for himself but for her own drinks, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, you think the date is over. So she starts. She said that she cried a little bit, and then she gets
really?
up. I don't know if maybe I'm confusing her with another girl, but she's upset. She gets up and she leaves, and then she says that she's walking back because she parked at Myron's place, and she's walking back, and then he catches up to her, and she basically, the way she describes the story, she's like, I see him in my peripheral vision, and the first thing he says, something like, "Hey, I'm not trying to
Get the mic back up.
Dude, just let me do my mic the way I want."
Story. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he says something like, "Hey, I'm not trying to stalk you." That's like his real approach. And then he comes up and she's like, "Okay, what do you want?" He's like, "So do you want to go back to my place?" And she's like, "Do you just not realize that like 5 minutes ago the date?"
Exactly.
And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, but I wanted to see if you still want to go back to my place, because I'm a high value guy, whatever." And then he again goes off on a lecture about how he's like a high value guy.
Oh,
she's like, "Dude, I'm not fucking going home with you after that incident." And then he's like, "Well, whatever. I wasn't interested anyway." And then he walks away.
Yeah, dude, bro,
It's like the most cringe story ever.
The problem with him is he thinks that whole act like an asshole thing. Like he misunderstands how that works
I think he's
completely.
the type of guy who's like have that list, like all the steps. He's
Right.
Like, why he's gonna say
He thinks he can break. He thinks he could break her confidence and self-esteem and then get her. Like he keeps trying to do that, not
He's a nerd.
realizing
That's like a nerd.
he doesn't realize that when you offend the girl and you hurt her and you make her cry, you tell her all her flaws, right? Because that's what he'll do. He'll pick apart of the girl and be like, "Oh, I wasn't that interested in you anyway. Look at your belly fat and look at this and that." It's like, dude, that's not gonna make her lose self-esteem and then sleep with you because she has low self-esteem now. It's gonna not put her in the mood for sex because you pointed out all her insecurities. That's ass backwards. Just yesterday I was in the gym and I met this hot Russian chick in there, and I'm asking her, "Hey, have you ever been on a podcast?" And she tells me, "Yeah, I've been on a podcast." She told me she was on Fresh and Fit. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And she's like, "Yeah, but I don't watch podcasts. I don't know much about them. I just been on that one plenty of times." I was like, what do you mean?" She was like, "Oh, I've been on that podcast 4 times." And I was like, 4 times? Like, in how long? She was like, "Oh, like, I don't know, like a little over a month, but less than 2 months. I've been on the podcast 4 times." And I laughed and I said, "Yeah, because I'm not there anymore, because I'm not booking the girls anymore." Like, dude, why would you have the same girl on 4 fucking times in less than 2 months? That right there means that you're struggling to maintain the standard of quantity that I brought to the show, not realizing that you don't even need to do that. That's your insecurity talking. That's your insecurity telling you that you got to keep up 6 or more girls a night because Ayendei had 6 or more girls a night, and I have to prove that I can get the girls myself. Okay, but you're bringing fat girls. You're bringing ghetto ratchet girls.
Yeah, the quality's so
right.
low.
You're bringing the same girls over and over again just to hit the quota of I have 8 vaginas in the chair. You would have been better off with 3 quality new women, okay, than 8 women. Half of them already having been on the show. We already heard what they have to say.
Yeah, it's gotten real ratchet.
And the other half of them being unattractive. And then the girl goes on to tell me, because I'm a G, so I say what the fuck I think and feel and know, regardless, bluntly. So I said, yeah, and I'm pretty sure he tried to fuck you all 4 of those times. And she went like this. It was like, she was like, why would you say that? I was like, because I know Myron. She was like, he did. She was like, he keeps texting me and keeps like, she's like, I ignore his text. He keeps texting me about other shit other than coming back on the podcast, like trying to link up with me, hook up with me, and meet up with me. And I'm like, I was about to go on and ask her, like, why are you so unattracted to him? Because, like I said, Myron's tall. He's a relatively good-looking dude, and he's supposed to be in shape, and he has money. And then I thought to myself, don't even go down that route. Go down the other road. Go down the Ayendei road. So when are we doing an interview? But it was just crazy to me that, like, that's the situation. Like, and I feel like there's so many guys that don't need nowhere near that much what he has to have much better results. Just simply being interesting, being fun to be around, and maybe make a girl feel good about herself. He's literally doing the opposite.
Yeah,
like he's doing the opposite.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly why, or largely why Myron turns off so many girls. One is because he's not pleasant to be around. Because like if you watch the podcast episodes, he just looks like a like I don't know, like a cranky housewife. He's like
always upset.
High value man.
Yeah, he's always upset.
Yeah, he's always in like a bad mood. Like he's always like constipated or something like that. There's no like, like if on this podcast you see like we're laughing, we're having a good time, like I crack jokes and stuff like that. Yeah. It's never like that. He's just like high value man. Yeah, he's just always like in a state of annoyance. That's the first thing. The second thing is because he has low self-esteem. It's super obvious. Yeah. And he's highly insecure.
He's insecure.
He's highly insecure, and he's developed a massive ego, which is super fragile and gets basically so whenever a girl
every night, like
it's very simple. If you're truly a confident alpha guy, when a girl playfully challenges you, you don't get super reactive. That's not how alpha guys react. Like if a girl gives me shit, I'm not gonna be like
get out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, oh,
get out of here.
Okay, it doesn't affect me.
You get the fuck out.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to drop one thing before I forget. The funniest thing that I find about him and how little he understands the dynamic between men and women and what you're out here trying to do is that he thinks that making a chick pay for her own shit somehow punishes her. He thinks that kicking a chick out for not wanting to sleep with him is somehow him winning. He's always like, yeah, you just kick these bitches out. It's like, dude, you wanted to have sex with her and you ended up kicking her out and not having sex with her. You didn't win, you asshole. You
she
lost.
Get laid in like 5 minutes. Yeah, you punish yourself.
Dude, you lost.
Yeah.
So there's no which way to cut it. You brought her back to your place because you wanted to sleep with her. If you don't sleep with her, you failed. It doesn't matter if you kick her the fuck out or if you let her spend the night in your bed and you sleep on the couch. Either way, you failed. So you attacking her, right, doesn't somehow salvage the loss.
Domestic violence.
And it's listen, it's super childish. And where I started to hate that is before I even moved out of New York. When I was young, I used to hate when guys would do that. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Ma? Yo, what's your name, yo? Oh, no, I'm okay. What you mean you okay, yo? I'm just trying to talk to you. What's up? You got a boyfriend? No, sorry, I'm not interested. Fuck you, bitch. You don't look good anyway. I hate when guys do that.
Yeah, it's super lame.
I hate when guys, dude, you were just trying to talk to her. You just said, hey, how you doing?
It's
beautiful?
Like a weird defense mechanism.
Alex, how does this work? Hey, how you doing, beautiful? No, sorry, I'm all right. No, I'm saying, what's up? You got a man? No, fuck you. You don't look that good anyway. You just called her beautiful. Yeah. You just told her that she's beautiful and you hit on her. And because she wasn't interested and tried to tell you she wasn't interested respectfully, now she doesn't look good and all of a sudden,
yeah, guys get super butthurt.
What just happened?
Myron gets butthurt all the time. Oh, you know what's funny is just a few more points on this. In a lot of ways, he's like what?
Your mics and somehow it's.
What the fuck keeps happening? Is this better? Okay, I'll just hold it like this. What keeps happening? I mean, what I was gonna say is Myron in a lot of ways is like a scorned woman.
Yep.
He like holds these grudges, and I'll tell you a specific story. We were doing a way before Fresh and Fit started. We had a live stream. We brought on like one of our fitness, one of my friends who's like a big fitness guy. No, it wasn't Adolfo. It was way before that. We're talking about Sanit. And Myron right away was like jealous, I guess, like, oh, like why are you talking to these other fitness experts? You could be talking to me, like some like scorned housewife. And then, dude, he was in the. You good?
I need to go.
Oh yeah, go for it. No, there's no bathroom breaks allowed.
Oh really?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, go.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah,
I
look.
don't know why you go the other way behind the couch.
I don't know.
But anyway, so what happens next is so we have this. What the fuck is it? It's like red.
You have to tighten the wire, like tuck it in. Okay. Yeah, there you go. You've been touching it so much.
Okay. No, it was okay. What could they not hear me complete earlier?
They could just in between.
Okay.
Keep talking.
All right. So, anyways, so we're doing the live stream, and he was using a username that we weren't familiar with. It was like some random username, and he was just like constantly like trying to like critique the fitness expert we had on. He was like, well, actually, according to this study, and so Nitin, without realizing that it's Myron, like that he's like I guess like an acquaintance or whatever, was like literally said to him, hey man, like if you keep like talking shit in the chat, we have to like kick you out. Like nothing crazy, just like like you can't like when you have an interview, like you can't be like disrespectful to the guest, right? Like basic common sense things. And Myron fucking literally like later on that day he called me. He's like, hey man, I don't know about your boy, but he I was like, oh dude, yeah, he must not have known it was you, like whatever, man. And Myron's like, all right, man, yeah, because that wasn't cool. I was like, yeah, dude, sorry, I don't know, man. He just didn't know it was you. And then like he brought it on for like years afterwards. Like every time I'd run into him at the gym, I'd be like, yo man, what's going on, man? How you been? He's like, oh good, man, yeah. But your boy that other day, I was like, dude, it was like 5 months ago. He's like, yeah, man, but that just wasn't cool. I was like, yeah, I guess. Like, well, you're still fucking thinking about that? He's like thinking about that like a year later. Like he's like so on this. He's like a scorned housewife. But the last point I wanted to bring on why he's so unattractive is I see him make this mistake time and time again. He tries to logic himself into attraction. He thinks if he just makes enough logical
tries to
points,
negotiate it.
yeah, he just thinks if he's logical enough, like gives a girl enough logical reasons, she'll bang him.
Right.
Like, well, let me explain to you 10 reasons why I'm a high value guy. It's like you roll up on a day and you're like, here's a PowerPoint of all the reasons why you should bang me. And like
starts using math. I'm in the top 10% and da 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 da. It's like, and then he tries to tell women what their odds are of meeting said guys, like he's in their fucking life to know who they be meeting. And the women are looking at him like, you idiot. I myself have dated more than one millionaire. Mm-hmm. He's over here trying to tell them, oh, the successful guys are rare and whatever. You're saying that to a woman that's dated more than one guy that makes that kind of money. She's broken up with guys that make that kind of money. She's turned down guys that make that type of money. You're over here telling her that she's not going to find guys that make that kind of money.
Yeah, you can't use facts, logics, and figures to get pussy. Like it just doesn't work that way. I think this is something that every beginner in the game learns very quickly. Attraction is emotional. It's not logical. Like I can't go on a date with you and just like tell you logical reasons why I'm attractive. And you're like, oh, that makes sense. I should want to sleep with you. But Myron, I don't know how he still hasn't realized this lesson because it's like a super obvious lesson. It's like touching the stove. Like most people, they touch it once and they realize it's hot.
That's what
but
I'm
like
saying.
Myron just keeps touching that stuff. It's like maybe the 25th time.
Using the same strategy.
It won't be hot. Oh,
I'm gonna show you some screenshots of text messages that women have like constantly. Like I have tons of them, bro. And it's like he uses the same game over and over again, and it hasn't worked. And I'm like, why is he running this same game? And several women have sent me these screenshots, and it didn't work with them. Why are you still using the same game? Why is there no adjustment? Why are you still talking about watching the sunset with chicks? And that didn't work. Why are you still trying to use your podcast to leverage your pussy and it hasn't worked?
Because some people have victim syndrome. Like
why are you still?
He definitely does to some extent, for sure. I see a little bit of victim mindset.
Yes.
I want to make one last point on this, and then we're gonna get off Fresh and Fit. But I do want to make this one thing. Since we're talking about them, I want to talk about the Instagram thing because you're here, and I think you can back me up on this. Oh. So okay, I just want to quickly mention this. So like,
trying to get my Instagram deactivated, bro.
Yeah.
No.
So like, oh please.
No. So I made a post saying, Fresh and Fit, whatever, Myron hacked my DM specific because I don't think it's Fresh is doing this. I think Fresh just cares about pussy. I don't think he cares about like these like
Fresh doesn't care about pussy. Fresh cares about validation from women. But go ahead.
Okay, fair enough. So I made that post and a lot of people were like, dude, like you can't make these crazy accusations. Okay, let me explain why it's not a crazy accusation. Because all the fucking facts line up. So first of all, I found out what my Instagram was whatever deactivated for. It was for impersonation. So Instagram thinks I'm impersonating this guy named Alex Valenchik. Funny enough, that guy's me. So Instagram thinks I'm impersonating myself. That does not happen for mass reports. So a bunch of, whatever angry people mass report me, I won't get taken down for impersonation. It might be from harassing, for bullying, but not for that. For that, what needs to happen is a hacker needs to go in with a verified account, and he needs to change the information to me, and then say, hey, I'm verified, and there's this guy Sir Alex Z, who's not verified, who's impersonating me. Then Instagram sees one guy's verified, one guy's not, and then they deactivate me, and then I have to now play catch up and try to reactivate. That's how that happens. That's really the only way that I know where that would happen. That requires a hacker. Now, funny coincidence, it seems that in that time period where, where Fresh and Fit started doing the counter pride strikes, it seems that pretty much everyone who criticized them just magically got their Instagram deactivated for the same exact reason. Spencer, impersonation. All these other guys, it wasn't for like other things. It was all for impersonation. Now, how much of a fucking... Yeah, Kevin Ray Wild. How much of a coincidence is it that pretty much every guy who publicly criticized Fresh and Fit gets their Instagram deactivated for the same exact reason in a very short time span? And then you've heard, what's it called? You said this. You lost your Instagram as well, right, at one point?
Yeah, and I really don't want to lose it against her.
Okay.
So, Amaru, please, you won that one. Okay, your bitch tactics worked. I can't, lying to the police and having my shit. You know what? You won. Surrender. Let me know when you want to debate me.
Not with me.
Barristan is Daenerys' closest ally. So,
all right, guys, we're gonna learn about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones fans.
Game of Thrones. No, I mean, I will say this: if I get enough evidence that I can prove it, I will 100% file legal action. I will fucking take their studio. I'll take Fresh. I will take like everything.
Well, one thing I will say is that
because that is such fucking shithead behavior.
Myron, I don't know how he doesn't realize that there's definitely going to be consequences to all these liabilities that he's creating by rubbing so many people the wrong way.
So many people.
When the consequences start coming back, he's not going to know what direction they're coming from, and he's not going to be able to put up an umbrella for the raindrops because it's just going to be some hard fucking rain. It's going to be acid rain. And even with the sleeping with the girls from the podcast, bro, it's just amazing to me that he acted so much as if he needed to eliminate me. I'm being real with you guys right now. I would have been the best thing to keep in Myron's life because all of the fucked up shit that happened to him this year, I pre-warned him about every single one of those issues. I told him, stop hooking up with girls off of the podcast. Eventually, one of these girls is going to come back and say something happened that may or may not have happened, and you're going to get jammed up over it. And it could happen next year, 2 years, 10 years. It could happen when you got 5 million. It could happen when you got 1 million. But you're doing it so frequently that it's definitely going to come back to you because every girl that you do it with, it's another liability just floating out there. These women don't just vanish off of the earth when you're done with them. And all it takes is for a woman to feel that she had a bad experience with you 2-3 years ago, then see you somewhere super successful, and her female brain, she's going to say, he doesn't deserve to be that successful. He doesn't deserve to have that and to live a good life because of what he did to me. That's how the female logic works. That's why so many guys, they get their lives destroyed because of a woman that they interacted with 5, 6, 7, 10 years prior when they were a lot less successful. Because one thing women do not want to see you do is do well after they had, a bad experience with you. That's why you could break up with a girl and go on and live miserable and she won't care about you. But if you find another beautiful woman, more younger, more beautiful than her, you get a promotion at work, you get a bigger house, you start living better than you were with her, she's going to try to find a way to throw a monkey wrench in it. Unfortunately, that's how women operate. And we have a saying for it, a woman scorned. So that's one of the examples. I was telling him that you keep trying to belittle my contribution, saying, hey, bro, you helped us out a lot, bro. Well, we can get the girls ourselves, bro. It's like, are you sure you can get the girls yourself? Now you have all your subs saying that the quality has obviously invisibly gone down.
No, it's super obvious to me, even as to an outside perspective.
And so all I did was create a standard and an appetite for something that you couldn't suffice without me. And I was charging you only $20 a girl, dummy. You can't beat that deal anywhere. There's nowhere that's going to get you beautiful girls in Miami.
That is a pretty good deal.
For only $20. And I'm bringing girls on that look good. I'm bringing girls on that get paid to do photo shoots. I had girls getting paid $700 an hour for a photo shoot, but still come and do the Fresh and Fit show for free. I had girls with 1 million followers on Instagram coming on your show for free, and they don't make no appearances for free, right? And you're thinking that you could do that without me? You're falling flat on your face. Then the whole propositioning girls on on seeking arrangements. You're doing that because you're desperately trying to book girls for the show. Well, look how that's worked out for you. Now you're getting exposed for being on seeking arrangements. Well, that wouldn't have happened if Ayendei was still around, dummy. Okay? And kicking the bitches out. I told him how to go about kicking the bitches out. Now you don't know when a girl's boyfriend, baby daddy, or whatever is going to come up there to crack your head open, and you don't even know who he is or what he looks like. So you're not even going to know who to avoid. Yeah, you avoid me. You don't come to the gym no more. You don't come to LA Fitness no more. I don't know where your punk ass has been. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where you're doing your cardio at now, bro. But all I'm saying is he has to understand that this is going to come back to get him at some point in time. I understand his problem is he's never been a winner. That's his problem. He's never dominated at anything. He was never dominating a sport. He was never dominating on the chess team. He was never dominating with women. So all through high school, college, or whatever, he was never great at anything. So he's desperately trying to be the best at something. And now you have that opportunity with YouTube, but you're fucking it up with your personality and telling people that you're the best when you can't prove you're the best. You're the best. Why? Because you got the best studio. So you can't run around saying, we're the best. You can't beat us. We're better than you. Dog, don't talk like that. Just do like that. Do that. Don't talk like that. Because what's going to happen is now whatever you build is going to be at risk now because there's so many people that are out to get you.
Yes.
Yeah, I will make one last final point on this before we move on. In my opinion, the hooking up with chicks off the podcast is like the least of their problems. The one thing I have always defended Myron on is being on seeking arrangement, because you can legitimately use seeking arrangement as a tool to meet girls. Like I personally do that. Like I've done that in the past. Like you can legitimately use seeking arrangement, like not spend a single dollar to meet girls. But that aside, like all the other stuff, yeah. Like I mean, I think like doing the whole copyright strike thing was so fucking dumb. Most YouTubers were done with them. I was done talking about them completely. You know, when the freshest whole thing with Miranda happened, I didn't cover it at all. I just didn't give a shit anymore. Spencer Cornelia was done. Abben Preach were done. All the big YouTubers were done. And then like the copyright thing is just way too fucking much for me to ignore. That's like such shitty behavior. Like I don't know. It's just like I couldn't ignore that. I was like, all right, you're being a fucking complete shithead with this stuff, because like you constantly bitch about cancel culture all the time. Oh, cancel culture effects, bro. And then like you just go ahead and try to get other people canceled. So cancel culture sucks when it works against you, but it's awesome when it works for you. That's my last point on this. All right, let's move on to some of the next questions. We'll take a few more questions. Now we've been going for a while. I actually want to ask a question for the ladies while you find that. What do you think is the difference between Russian dating culture and American dating culture?
Oh
Well,
my
you gotta
God,
get
it's so
this one for
different.
that.
Question.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, we'll wait.
Well, we'll ask about Puerto Rico in the meantime. What's the difference between Puerto Rico dating and America, even though it's an American colony?
Well, America, America, you have so many options. Like,
Yeah, it's still gotta be a different
Russian
culture.
or no,
well,
Russian.
men are different, like depending where they come from. In
But
my
how
opinion,
so?
like,
The men in Puerto Rico love saying papi and mommy. Hey, mommy. The culo es muy grande.
No, I don't know. It's like a Russian culture. Like guys always take care about you, everything. Like you know, when I live in Russian, like always flowers every second day. Like example.
because in Puerto Rico,
You know?
they didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
They're not that.
Yeah,
It's
Russian
like-
men are like unique in like some of their like quote unquote simping. Like my dad was like, my mom was telling me the stories of how my
Yeah.
dad got her,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know,
I wouldn't work here.
okay, so this is what my dad did to get my mom. They met through friends in college or whatever, but so they would go on dates where my dad would cook for her, right? And then she would sit there, and like back then it was a big deal to have a TV, and she would watch TV while she ate the food that my dad cooked, and he would massage her.
Yeah.
That was like their date. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, dad, you must have been thirsty.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, there's like no way in a million years I would ever do that. Like, oh, why don't you come over? I'm gonna cook for you, and then I'm gonna massage you while you eat the food. Like,
Yeah, but I think it's different though, because I think in
Yeah.
that culture the men get rewarded for that behavior though, whereas here you don't get rewarded for treating women well. That's what I'm trying to say. It's different because in Mexico, like I see the guys like overly being so like nice to the girl, but they don't get used and discarded for that. So the women act appreciative. They act like I owe this guy because this guy's been doing all this nice shit.
So I feel like in Puerto Rico, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's like the guys earn it. You know what I mean? They earn it through that.
I do think Russia and South America do have a little bit of reputation of having sugar dating cultures where, like, you know, like obviously the whole thing, oh, Russian, you know, chicks can be gold diggers. Not all Russian girls, obviously there's some really cool Russian girls, but some, you know, you see that with like Puerto Rico a little bit, and like South and Central America, Colombia, whatever. But you know, you see that in America as well, so it is what it is. But yeah, I want
Like, sugar baby.
Yeah, like how in Russia, like there's a lot of stories of like a guy, like an American guy, who brought over like a Russian girl because he thought that she was into him, and then she turned out to just want the citizenship and his money, and she left his
Maybe
ass.
not. Maybe not in
Obviously,
Russia.
There's been
I mean,
websites for years where you can get a male order bride, though. That's not even something new.
Maybe not in Russia. Maybe in Moscow, because Moscow and Russia is like two
Yeah,
different
okay,
countries.
fair enough. Yeah.
Maybe in Moscow, yes, you're right. But
Yeah.
about other Russia, I mean, like other
Russia's
small
huge.
cities, it's like
Yeah,
very
okay, fair
different
enough.
lives. In
No,
Moscow, yes,
I
yes,
agree
it's
with you.
like most of this situation.
Just for the record, for anyone who's not familiar,
Moscow,
with
yeah,
geography, Moscow is the capital of Russia. It's the biggest city. there.
Moscow is like
Moscow's huge.
Moscow is not Russia. It's like different country.
I mean, the good news
Moscow
is
different,
there's
yes, it's different.
there's lots of interesting experiences to have with women in all these other countries in the world, even Western countries that just aren't the Western country that you're from.
I can tell
what I
only
mean? Like, I
about
have a
Moscow. I don't
great
know about
time
other countries.
in England, in Europe, in
I don't
Italy.
know about England, Europe. I know about Moscow. About Moscow, I know because I live in Moscow.
I live in Dubai 6 months.
Right,
Dubai.
Oh shit! What were you doing? What were you doing in
yes,
Dubai?
but
Some-
Dubai, I
somewhere
think
different.
it's like same,
Same
like in Moscow.
Too many
About
Russian,
like
too many Russian girls.
Ca-
Like,
Canada is
Sugar
awesome
babies.
when you're coming from America,
I
but
don't
to
know much about
Canada is boring.
where is
to
your sheikh?
Canadians.
Actually, did you lost his
Saudi.
Saudi?
But what I was gonna say, the bad news is that you have very little time to go see for yourself. I'm talking to the subs. You got very little time to go see for yourself because they're gonna shut all this traveling down real soon,
You think so?
and you're gonna have to be doing a lot of things and a lot of mandates
Hopefully not.
if you want to travel. So I'm telling you guys right now, take my damn advice. Get what money you got now, or bust your ass and get some more money real fast, and get the traveling out your system right the fuck now, because very soon, shortly, they will be telling you got to be vaxxed, you got to be this, you got to be that, you got to have the particular passport, you got to have the whole clear thing. They have all this new technology that they've already invested billions of dollars into creating. You think they spent all that money and built that technology for nothing? These machines already exist. So all that whole clear system, that new digital passport or whatever that they have, they're already prepared. They already have it. They might not have put it in your airport yet, but your airport has it. They got it in the back somewhere. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Get your ass out there and travel now, stupid, because they're gonna cut it off real fast. So take advantage of it while you still can. I already did. So
Yeah, that shit is super gay with with all the restrictions and whatnot. I think that's always been like super lame.
they're just getting started.
What were you doing in Dubai? Were you like doing some
Yeah.
shady shit? Or?
Were you getting peed on and all that kind of
no,
weird stuff?
I live in Dubai 6 months because I met some guy in Ibiza
Mm.
and England
In
guy.
Ushuaia,
And he got that money.
Ushuaia.
And he got that money.
What was he doing in
No,
Dubai?
no,
if
no,
he's
it's not,
British?
it's not
you
about
came in
money.
the
It's
Ushuaia,
like,
like in the
about
party.
emotions, like chemistry.
It was like a British guy living in Dubai.
British guy, yes.
No, I'm
Live
saying
in
he
Dubai.
has the money to afford to take you to Dubai. That's what I was saying.
No, he invited me to Dubai, and I come after Ibiza. I go to Moscow and take my suitcase and go to Dubai, and I live with him 6
Because
months.
he paid for your ticket. That's what I'm trying to say.
No,
So
no,
he
no.
can
I
afford
pay for ticket.
it.
No.
You pay for your own ticket to
Yeah,
Dubai?
yeah.
Round of applause. What you got sound
Yeah.
effects? Round of
Sugar,
applause.
sugar woman.
No, I pay for ticket to Dubai and back to Moscow. Yes,
That's beautiful.
Respect.
it's okay.
Uh,
It's okay.
No, respect. All right, let's take a few more questions. We've been going for a while, so we'll take a few
Read the
more.
good ones.
There's always just conversations going on. Okay, so this one is.
They usually
good.
discuss like my hairline. Alex is losing more hair. Oh no, his hairline is looking a little worse.
Do the ladies feel that the men that they see from the apps have too many options? Do they think that men have a lot of options?
Oh god.
But it doesn't really matter because the men have.
How does that equate
No,
to
no,
him
no,
getting
what?
success on the app though?
I don't understand question actually.
Let's skip that question because it's a
What
complete
the fuck,
it's a
bro?
completely irrelevant question.
There's barely.
It's like it's like me saying, do I think that there's a lot of like arranged marriage in India? Whether I think there is or there's not doesn't change the fact that there is.
Yeah, like, what's going on? No, what I'm saying
Okay.
is, what does that have to do with
Alright,
success,
Questions
though?
from Russian.
Let's
It's
do
just
it.
people asking
From
me.
Russian.
Okay,
I
but
can
the-
read if you can't. I can read Russian language.
Who's asking these
Oh, it's
questions?
okay. I can read Russian language too.
I can read better.
Okay, so with the state of women in Western society, do you think it's worth it to search for a long-term relationship in foreign countries where women aren't as toxic?
You just said that.
No, that's a bit of a different question. Okay, so
Yeah.
the question is,
Toxic.
do you think it's better to, if for a guy who lives in America, to seek a relationship in like Eastern Europe or like South America, in places like that? So I'll let the ladies answer first. I have like a unique set of ideas about that, but
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Women, like you guys said, more appreciative apparently.
here's what I will say on that.
No, I
Yeah,
think it's
Eastern Europe is like more like, I don't know, more. It's different.
I'll say this. One thing you gotta be really, really careful for is that the girl is using you for your citizenship. So you gotta be really careful of that, and that you vet correctly. If you are gonna go dating in third world countries, you gotta really be weary of that, because that does happen a lot. I've heard stories time and time again. So that's what I will say on that. You can find great girls in America. They do exist. You know, I think my girlfriend's awesome. I've met other great girls, but you know, you have to screen really, really hard because they're few and far in between.
See, look,
The American girls like feministy girls, you know, it's like it's
Yeah, some of them, not all, but some.
I
Yeah.
hate this shit.
Listen,
Yeah, me
I
too.
hate this shit.
like Alex just said, like you got quality women in America. You have quality women everywhere. The issue is not the answer to his question. The issue is that who's asking the question, the mentality of the dude that's asking the question. The fact that you're asking that question and you're asking it in that way tells me that no matter where you go, you're gonna fucking fail. Because
Jeez,
you-
man. You are harsh.
No, I'm keeping it 100% real because your fucking mentality. You're over here asking someone else to tell you whether or not you should go look for a wife in another country. You know how stupid that is? You're a man. Stop asking other people for answers to your life. You decide for yourself what you want, how you want it, and where you want it. Me going to another country for a wife has nothing to do with, is it going to be easier for me to get a wife in this country? Is she going to appreciate me more in this country? It's whether or not I want a wife from that country. What
Yeah,
the fuck?
Ayendei, to be fair, it is a live Q&A, so that's like the whole premise.
No, I understand, but I'm answering his question like legit. Your problem is not so much the answer to the question. The problem is your level of confidence and your level of taking initiative and agency in your own life. With that frail, you know what I'm saying, mentality, and that somebody telling you what to do and patting you on the back and saying, oh, don't worry, go to Mexico. You'll find a wife there that will love you. The fact that you need someone to tell you that, you'll go to Mexico and still fail because you're going to Mexico weak.
I want to go to Antarctica and try to find.
No matter where you go, if you go weak, blowing in the wind, you're not going to be successful. If you're confident, assertive, and got your shit together in America, you could get one here. And you could take that same attitude and those same credentials and get one in Russia, get one in Mexico, get one in Colombia. So ask yourself, where do you like the women? And stop asking where the women are going to like you. Do you like Russian women? Do you like Panamanian women? Decide for yourself what you like, then go over there and take what you want. Make it happen with a confident attitude, a reassured attitude. You know what you want and you got a plan. Damn, bro. Stop asking for a cheat code or some easy way or some easy answer. That's what women do. Women ask to get an answer that makes them feel good. That's what they do. You want real results, and real results are going to require you stepping up and taking those results.
This guy's like never going to post a question again.
No. It's not that, bro. It's not that. I want you to come from the right mindset. I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
Him
but-
asking that question like that is going to have someone say, yeah, go to this country. The women are. No, I don't. No, I don't, because he's a man. I have to be like
Okay.
that with a woman. If you ask that question like that, somebody is gonna give you a hopeful answer. Yeah, go to this particular country. The women are real nice and easygoing there. They're real submissive. Then you're gonna go over there with that weak ass attitude, and you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna get finessed and fleeked on, just like Alex was saying. You're gonna go over there and get used, manipulated by a woman over there, just like a woman over here in America would have did you. Why? Because you went over there weak, with a victim mentality and got taken advantage of, and you're not going to see it coming because you're going to think the women over here wouldn't do that. The women over here wouldn't do that to me. Women are women, bro. They only behave differently because of their environment or because of the guy that they're interacting with. So be the guy that gets the results you want, and stop putting it on the female to decide how she's going to behave. You need to determine what you're going to tolerate and what you're bringing to the table, bro.
Yeah, I will say this. We'll just take one more question after this, but yeah, I think that you got. I mean, I think there's a truth in what you said about what's it called? It matters. A lot of it is what you want. Like me personally, like big booty Latinas. So obviously, I'm not going to go to like Thailand for that, right?
Word.
Although occasionally I am in the mood for a big titty Asian girl, so that's probably where we'll find that. But no, I think a lot of it is what you want, but also you do have to be careful if you are going to go. So there's pros and cons. If you go to like Colombia, right, for dating, pro is, chicks that are going to be more feminine. There's the marketplace is better, but con is there's some girls who will use you for the citizenship, versus that won't happen in America because they're already U.S. citizens. So you do have to be very much on guard about that. Again, if you're just going to Colombia, like when I go to Colombia to fuck. I go to Colombia to get laid, have fun, blah blah blah. Like, I don't care if she's fucking because of my passport or not. Like,
exactly.
I'm not marrying her, right? But if you're thinking for like a long-term serious relationship, that is something you gotta be, careful for. Like I will say, not to put like my family business too out there, but like my dad right now, he's dating a Dominican girl, right? My parents are separated. He's not like cheating on my mom or anything. And he's dating a Dominican girl. They've been together for like, I think 2 years. And I think she was kind of hinting at marriage, but he's like very, hesitant because he's like, yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen. I don't know if she's like, I don't want that. So that can be a potential roadblock that might happen down the line. You do need to be, I'm not saying you can't marry a girl who lives in a different country. You just got to make sure you really screen hard and that she's marrying you for the right reasons and not for the citizenship. And if she's marrying you for the citizenship, make sure you get like 20, 25,000 for that, because that's the going rate. All right. Anyway, let's take one last question.
Okay.
A good one.
How do the women feel about open relationships? Have they been or will they be in one? Also, if it's only open one way, the man has options.
Okay.
So those two separate questions.
That's an interesting question.
So open relationship, like they both have the the options, or just
Answer
the
it
men?
both ways.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one where it's both open and one
Like
where
swingers.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
No, not exactly.
That is different.
I will clarify on that. Swingers is when you're swinging, you're having sex together with other couples.
Yeah.
Open
Right.
relationship, you're not like the girl, for example, might have sex with another guy. You might have sex with another girl, but it's never together.
Okay, that's
Right.
What do you think? Would you ever go for something like that?
that would never last. Eventually, it's like I don't think that's a long lasting relationship. I don't know.
Open
Depending on the
rela-
person, but almost never. I don't know.
Open relationship, you means like free love? Like it's not serious relationship?
No,
with,
It means that you have the option. So let's say you and I are in an open relationship. If it's a two-way open relationship, that means it's like a classic relationship, with the exception that you can have sex with other men and I can have sex with other women, but emotionally and intimately, we're going to be only with each other. That's the basic premise.
If I enjoy this, for me it's good. If I not enjoy, I will do it.
What do you think for you? Would that be a relationship you would ever consider, or no?
I say if I enjoy.
Like, are you okay with your boyfriend or whatever seeing other girls and you?
If
see
I
other
enjoy
guys?
this other girl, why not? Yeah.
No, not threesome. Like, you have sex with other men, he has sex with other women.
Like
I said if I enjoy, it's good for me. If I enjoy this, if
But-
I do it, like if I don't want to do it, but I have to do it, I will not do it. Like for him, because he
these
wants
are
it.
women's answers. They're confusing.
For me, like
So yes or no?
usually I do everything what I want to do. It's like for me, I told like me, like first person who important for me, it's me, myself. It's important.
So every relationship for you is an open relationship.
If I like, I will do it. If I don't like,
no, but they're trying. What's in the? You have a boyfriend, but you having a boyfriend, he can be with another girl, like have sex with another girl, and you can have sex. With
if I
another
don't
man.
care, he can have sex with another girl. If I don't care,
But we're asking you
if
if you
it just
care.
if no, for me, look, for me, relationship is not only about sex. For me, relationship is like a business. It's
I
like
know, but we're
partners.
asking you, is it okay?
Let's say finish. It's like partners business. If you, my boyfriend, if we decided to make this family, this relationship, this our future life together, we will do it. It's not only about sex. Of course, you will not fuck me in 10 years like we fuck in the first date. It's impossible. If in some time in few years you will want to fuck my like another girl, If it's just sex, don't do it. I don't care, and of course I don't want to know about this. But if it only sex, it's okay. But after few years, after a relationship, family, we have kids and nothing, you will tell me, Marina, I will go to another family. I will be in a relationship with another girl. This not. If it's just sex, it's like, it's like, for me, it's like drug. You will go like smoke cigarette and come back to me because you promised to make this family, this life with me. You understand what I mean?
Okay. I think I understand. So basically, what you're saying.
Sorry for my English, like,
No, it's
but
okay. It's fine.
I hope you understand what I mean. It's
You know,
like,
I think what you're getting at is
Yeah.
that you might be open to the idea as long as it's just purely sexual. With
if
the
I don't care, if I okay with this, it's okay. Like
and you won't know if you care or not until you get into the relationship.
yes, if
Okay,
I trust him, I understand.
you're
He
going with the vibe.
go to
right?
like make a like, for me it's
I
like a
understand.
party. He will go to make a party, to make a fun with girl, with sex, but he will come back to me because he promised and he decided to make future with me.
Because you got those good Russian
So
golubцы.
I guess she can be okay with an open.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'll just weigh in on my thing just to quickly answer this question. Then we're gonna. I know one of the ladies has to bounce, but we'll end after this. But I'm in a one way, so a lot of you guys know I'm in a one way open relationship. So far, it's going great. I mean, we'll see what happens. But so the way we have it is we just operate in a policy of transparency. So anytime I have sex with another girl, she wants me to tell her about it, tell her all the details. We do have some rules, like she doesn't want me to start having seeing these girls regularly, right? A few times is fine with her, but if I start really hanging out with the girl often, that's like a deal breaker for her. But that's just the way we've been doing it. I think it has potential, but we'll see what happens. I don't know, kind of experimenting. All right, so that's kind of. Do you ladies have any closing thoughts, and then we'll kind of plug everything and end it off? Is there anything you want to comment on?
I don't know.
Yeah, sit down. You're she's standing over. Садись. Ah.
Oh,
Мы заканчиваем через там 2
we're
минуты.
just wrapping it up.
Yeah.
No.
It's only going to be another 2 hours.
Just 2 more hours.
Just- There we go. All right, everybody's on the couch. There you go. All right. So, any closing thoughts, anyone, before we wrap up the podcast?
Something you want to say before the?
Yeah, just any thoughts?
It's been a good experience. I never done a live podcast in person, so.
Sweet. Okay. All right. So let's. I know you mentioned you want to plug your art stuff, and then we'll go.
Yeah.
So, right, you or you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So what's
I'm
your?
artist. I'm
okay.
artist. Yes.
Extension hair.
Okay. So
Extension
how can they support your art? Where should they go?
Yeah, I need a promotion something for my art.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
where can they
Yeah,
go? Like your
page.
Instagram or where can they?
Yeah, actually I need to make my website and I need to promote my Instagram page.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
But
let's do it
what's
right
your
now.
Instagram?
Huh?
What's your Instagram?
Ты можешь сказать.
Yeah, my Instagram is like it's about art.
Well, what's the name? Like, как называется?
Find art Biana Dexter.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
this is a little bit of
gonna
mouthful. We'll plug in description.
Yeah, I'll be in the description.
Okay. Any of you?
My Instagram is Lenatika, Lenatika.
Cool.
Do you have a YouTube?
My Instagram, Miss from Russia, like American passport, 15 minutes, guys.
That's one hell of a deal if I ever heard of.
15 minutes of my life, but like.
Yeah,
my life.
But
Change my life in 15
what happens during those 15 minutes? Can the guys get a little sneak preview? What do the 15 minutes entail? Because for sex, we only need
We'll
1 or 2
see.
minutes.
So
what do you
depend
do
on
for
the
the other 13
person.
minutes?
Depend on the person. actually.
Okay. Because
Depend on the passport.
we can get the sex done in 2 minutes. So what are we gonna do for the other 13 minutes?
No, I didn't talk about sex. No.
Oh.
But passport.
Just 15 minutes of my life. You have already 2 hours of my life, actually.
I feel blessed and honored.
She wants
Like, how
two.
many
She wants 2
passports?
passports.
Yeah. What do you want from me? You want my Belarusian citizenship, my American citizenship, and my dog? An arm and a leg. I'll give you. Okay. Is there anything you want to plug?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have a YouTube channel. I'm starting. It's a fitness channel. It's called TNT Fitness with Natalia Cifuentes.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you want to subscribe, you probably.
Cool. All right. Sweet. All right, guys. We're gonna put the links and everything. Oh yeah, they plug your shit.
The channel is Authentic Alphas. Go over there and go sub, man. Stop fucking around.
Yeah, guys, check out Ayendei's channel. He's got some good stuff in there. I watch his videos from time to time. It's good stuff. So check out his channel. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Everybody, please hit that subscribe button. We're coming up on 100K. We want to get there. And when we
Speaking of which, what are you doing for a 100K party?
we're gonna have a party, but it's not gonna be gay. It's gonna be like free. Everyone can come. You know, we'll hang out. It's gonna be a good time.
That's what I told them to do. They didn't want to do it. Yeah, so now they're taking my idea and having a party for every milestone, which was again my idea. I said you need to have. parties
I
yourself
thought that was a really good idea. Yeah,
yeah, but don't charge for it. It needs to be.
Yeah,
free.
no, I'm not gonna charge for it. Yeah, you can just come hang out, meet me, meet my dog.
Am I invited? Can I come?
Yeah, of course you're invited. I thought that was like,
How many girls did I got to bring?
you don't have to bring anybody.
15.
Just come-
Oh
come
man,
yourself,
yeah, bro.
Yeah, just yeah.
I guess I'm used to something else.
Yeah, I don't do this like I know a lot of like these like Miami stuff. It's always like it's gotta be like this value exchange. Like I don't care if I like someone, like I'll just hang out with them. It doesn't have to be like this like value exchange.
Bro. I only have 12,000 subs. Man.
Yeah, that is. It's gonna
How
be,
many subs do I need to be able to come to your party?
I'm gonna need you to get at least another 3,000 subs. Like
I could do that by the time you get to 100K. Why don't you do another interview and plug me, and then maybe I'll get I'll get there.
well, guys, check out Ayendei's channel. Subscribe to him. Show your support. But yeah, so we're gonna be doing that. So guys, help us get to 100,000. Really, the best thing you can do is just share this channel, and also in the comments, let us know what you guys enjoy, what you don't enjoy. We're always trying to be cognizant of the feedback. So as you see, you guys were complaining about the audio, so we fixed the audio. That's in the mics. We got 3 camera angles. We got all. So we try to take your guys' feedback. So if there's something you guys want to see, don't want to see, let us know in the comments. I do very much read that. Okay, with that being said, we're probably going to do another live Q&A. It's going to be virtual tomorrow. We're just going to be answering your question. We got the Ask Alex Anything series, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, guys, thanks for joining. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you to the guests.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
everybody,
Thank you.
until
Thank you for
next
inviting me.
time.
Peace.